A new season. The sound. The spectacle. Victory is back. Defeat is back. Will Clemson defend the title, or will Bama get revenge?
Touchdown, Francois! Highlight reel from Mark Jackson. Ohio State wins. Saquon Barkley, electric. Darnold touchdown. USC wins it. How about that?
All the things we love about football are back.
We gotta go every single time like your last.
Football is back.
You're watching college football on ESPN, presented by Destiny 2. And yeah, football is back. The first full weekend of college football 2017 begins here tonight in Bloomington in our matchup in Memorial Stadium in the Big Ten. Number 2, Ohio State has come on the road to take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Dave Fleming with you, Kirk Herbstreit, Laura Rutledge will join me momentarily. Pre-game festivities out of the way. Now time for the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, join us in celebrating America's freedom. Here today to perform the national anthem, a very special guest. Please welcome back to Bloomington from the Chicago Blackhawks, IU Jacobs School of Music alumnus, Jim Cornelison.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Nobody does it better than that. Are we ready? Yeah, I think we're ready. Buckeyes, Hoosiers, kickoff from Bloomington coming up now. A look inside Nissan's Heisman House.
Guys, just relax. We're here for dinner. And I'll have the duck. Oh, it's on now.
In the history of this Hoosiers football program. And the excitement for this opener is palpable here in Bloomington. The Hoosiers looking for a huge upset. Urban Meyer and the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes on a mission, not just to contend for a national championship, but to be a national champion at the end of 2017. Tom Allen, first-year head coach of the Hoosiers, ready for his first game as the full-time head coach in his home state. So they will clear the field and get ready. This has been the Nissan pregame rush here from Bloomington. And welcome, Dave Fleming with you here. Welcome to another season of Thursday night college football here on ESPN. Great schedule of games. We're going to do something a little bit different this year on Thursday nights. All of our top football analysts across all of our platforms are going to be with us throughout the year. And who better to start with than Kirk Herbstreit, who not only does such great work for us all over the place, but also probably, I think, has done more Thursday night college games for ESPN than everybody. Welcome back to Thursday.
Thank you. Glad to be back. What a great scene this is going to be tonight in Bloomington. But you're right, Tarico and myself, Lee Corso, we did a ton of Thursday night games. So great to be back tonight, part of this package. Like I said, an interesting game with Ohio State and Indiana.
Yeah, and you guys had, over the years, a lot of upsets and thrillers, and who knows, the Hoosiers, I think, feel like they have a chance for that tonight. Meanwhile, Kirk, Ohio State just determined to redeem themselves from the semifinal game against Clemson, and Urban Meyer is focused. He's determined, but maybe it all starts with their senior leader, their quarterback.
Well, I think tonight we really want to find out how much J.T. Barrett has, in fact, improved. A new offensive coordinator, obviously former head coach here at Indiana. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Ryan Day comes over to be his new quarterback coach. And I think the big thing that they want to create, there's Ryan Day closest to us, and in the glasses is Kevin Wilson. The thing they want to create is a rhythm. Get Ohio State back to being able to get the ball out of J.T. Barrett's hands and see if he can make some big plays, especially downfield in their passing game.
Yes, and you mentioned Kevin Wilson, who was the head coach here last year. He hired Tom Allen to be Indiana's defensive coordinator. Now Tom Allen is the head coach starting fresh here in 2017. For more on him, let's send it down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, yeah, Dave, Tom Allen has said this is the biggest opener in Indiana history, and maybe you could question that, but one thing you can't question is how much it means to Indiana's current head coach, Tom Allen.
You know, I got tears in my eyes, you know, doing the walk. It's my first one as a head coach. It just means so much to me. There's so many friends and family, and you know, out there cheering us on, and you have a lot of pride in who you represent, you know, and it's personal, and it means a lot to me, and so, yeah, it's special. It's really special.
I spoke with Indiana offensive coordinator Mike DeBoard, who had seen that interview and said it brought tears to his eyes when he saw how emotional Tom Allen got. This team believes they have a chance tonight because of the encouragement of Tom Allen. They've talked about it. Richard Lago, the quarterback, telling us he doesn't know why so many people are doubting Indiana. He doesn't know why not enough people are talking about him, Dave.
All right, Laura, good stuff, and we will see. The Hoosiers seem ready for this one. We've had to wait 233 days since Clemson won the national championship to finish last college football season. Now seconds away from toe meeting leather here in 2017, the first full weekend of college football. It's here, finally. Indiana won the toss. They have deferred, so they're going to kick off and let their defense take the field first. And that means Paris Campbell and K.J. Hill back deep to receive for the Buckeyes.
You know, there's been so much talk about J.T. Barrett and what he can do. He's going to have some new weapons this year around him. I think J.T. Barrett brings a certain composure to this position. Talking to him this week, I think he's incredibly confident with this new system. But one of the new players I can't wait to see is a true freshman tailback, J.K. Dobbins. Very good chance he's going to make his first start, first career game. The only back that's ever done that in school history is Maurice Claret. You think about Archie Griffin, it was actually his second game against North Carolina. So Dobbins, who missed his senior year with an injury, probably going to get the chance to start and play early.
I think that's Nick Westbrook, who's one of the most talented playmakers on offense for Indiana. It is.
Good to see him get up.
Yeah, remember, it was last year Simi Cobbs, who's a big-time playmaker for them, on the first play from scrimmage of the year went down and never played again. And here comes the kid you were talking about.
Yeah, he, as I said, he missed his senior year, grew up in the state of Texas, looked at a lot of schools, ends up starting his career, obviously, tonight for Ohio State, and has electric ability. Really can put his foot in the ground and take it to the distance. We'll see if he has any room tonight to run.
So Mike Weber with the hamstring problem during camp, and Dobbins gets the start, gets a carry on his first play of his college career. And one thing that we'll be talking about a lot, not just the high-powered weapons for the Buckeyes, but this Indiana defense, which took such a big leap forward last year. They played the best defense they played here in Bloomington in a long time. Dobbins will empty the backfield. Barrett's first pass of the season. And that one's caught for a short gain. It's going to be third down.
Indiana right now willing to leave their secondary out on islands and playing some tight coverage. I think they're determined here early to try to put pressure on JT Barrett. They had a lot of success last year against him.
They made it very tough on the Buckeyes last year. Barrett's got time. He's got a receiver. He's got a completion for a first down.
A wheel route, Dave, right out of the backfield. A mismatch here where the young freshman gets matched up one-on-one with a defensive end. Greg Gooch, who's trying to stay with him. Look to the left, trying to big defensive end at 250 pounds, trying to stay with a fleet-footed tailback. That's a win and a good recognition by JT.
Dobbins will get another carry here. Got through the initial line and then gets upended, but into
J.K. Dobbins, the instincts in that backfield. He gets hit, bounces off it, and picks up positive yards.
And we did see a moment ago a little smile on the face of Mike Weber on the sideline, watching the kid. A little option style play. Barrett keeps it. Did not have much running room. And number 8, T. Gray Scales, who will be everywhere tonight for Indiana, in on that tackle.
Yeah, if you want to watch the football, you're going to keep an eye on 8 in red. Good look at Mike Weber. They said he had a hamstring injury coming into camp, kind of tweaked it about 10 days ago, about 80%. And that's why J.K. Dobbins gets the opportunity tonight. But they said he had a good enough camp. It was very close anyway.
3rd and 5. Dobbins once again leaves the backfield. Barrett's going to throw short. That's caught, and that's a first down and more. Paris Campbell, who is expected to be a big play receiver this year for Ohio State. First down, Buckeyes.
And another mesh route where you're going to see Campbell work across. You'll see another, this time the tight end, Marcus Bowe, working across as well. Just trying to create kind of like a pick. And you can see it was open earlier when he threw the ball to the backfield down on the wheel route to Dobbins. This time he locates it on 3rd down for the first down.
So a couple of conversions already for Ohio State. Ohio State's been playing football for 128 years. JT Barrett is the first 3-time team captain in program history. Across the middle for a catch, big hit. But the tight end Marcus Bowe hangs on to the ball, first down.
Remember last year we talked about how hesitant JT Barrett was at times? Boy, so far you're seeing him in rhythm. That's exactly what we talked about, and trying to create that, and the tempo is back in this offense.
Dobbins gets the carry. Instead of bouncing it outside, cut it back middle.
Kevin Wilson, a former Indiana head coach, right there in the middle with the glasses. And don't underestimate the value. You can see his name on his headphones, of Ryan Day. Spent some time in the NFL and has really done a good job so far working with JT Barrett as a quarterback coach.
Barrett gave the ball to Dobbins again, and again just no running room.
Tell you what, that Indiana defensive line is getting a push. That time Mike Barwick pushed the Ohio State offensive line right into that backfield, and I got a feeling they're going to give Brandon Bowen, that right guard, is really getting introduced to Big Ten football. It's the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen him pushed completely back into the backfield of Ohio State.
10th play of the drive, the third down for the Buckeyes inside the 15 of Indiana. Play clock down to 5. And now whistles, and somebody called a timeout, I believe.
Yeah, Urban Meyer ran down to about the 20-yard line. I don't know if he got the timeout in or not.
Charge timeout, Ohio State. They're first.
So he did, and that will send us to a timeout of our own. 3rd down coming up when we come back to Bloomington. Ohio State, Indiana getting this 2017 season going.
for 60 minutes and beyond. Whatever it takes. Something good happens, we fight them. Something bad happens, we fight them. You play the next play. You keep fighting. You keep fighting. You keep fighting.
That's Indiana head coach Tom Allen before the game in the locker room. Now his Hoosiers defense faces a very big third down.
Ohio State on previous third downs, a lot of crossing routes, mesh routes to try to create picks.
The Buckeyes can get a first down. It's not third and goal. First down right around that 3-yard line. JT Barrett in the pocket, not being pressured, and he's going to try to scramble for it. He'll throw it away, and that is good defense by the Hoosiers.
What they did is they rushed 3 and dropped 8. They're also disguising their looks, which is, I think, that time may have had an impact on JT Barrett. Watch how they rush 3. They're actually spying with him right here in the middle. You can see how they're trying to make sure he can't scramble and pick up yards for a touchdown. They do a nice job of covering down all the receivers, and JT Barrett just has to throw the ball away.
Yeah, good point. Without that spy, maybe Barrett has room to get the first down or a touchdown. Instead, a 27-yard field goal try. Sean Nurenberger, who's not been the primary kicker for a couple of years. His first attempt of 2017 is good, and the Buckeyes are on the board first with a 3-0 lead.
A nice drive by Ohio State, 11 plays. They have to settle for a field goal, and if you're Indiana, it's a big stop. I mean, as much hype and build-up going into this game, and to give up an 11 or 12 play drive and potentially touchdown to go down 7-0, instead you hold them out of the end zone, hold them to 3, and now you get your own offense out in the field. That was a big stop for the emotions of this IU football team.
So now Indiana will be getting the ball. Time for our legendary moment, brought to you by Destiny 2. And talking about the history of this rivalry, it has been lopsided to say the least. First win for Indiana over the Buckeyes came back in 1951. That was Woody Hayes' first year coaching Ohio State. The most recent win, you got to go all the way back to 1988. That's the last time the Hoosiers beat the Buckeyes.
It was a very good Indiana team and a tremendous running back in Anthony Thompson.
And really, truly, talking to the folks around this Indiana program this week, they believe that they're equipped to pull off what would be a huge upset tonight. They have played Ohio State very tough the last several years.
Really, they've played Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. A lot of the teams in the Big Ten East very tough, just can't get over the hump.
So now the Hoosiers going to get the ball first, and the kick return nowhere to go for Devontae Williams. Broke one tackle, but then brought down inside the 15-yard line. Well, the quarterback, second-year starter for the Hoosiers, 6'6", fifth-year senior Richard Lago. Well-traveled, couple different Division I programs, then junior college in Texas. Last year, first year here in Indiana. He's been a counselor at the Manning Passing Academy. His sister was a great athlete, played soccer in the SEC at LSU. She wore number 21. Richard wears number 21, in part because of his big sister.
No doubt about that. It's nice of him to wear that number for his sister. He's confident in this team and what they can do.
And he's got some weapons to work with. They're going to throw on first down, and a quick completion across the middle to Luke Timian for a first down, Hoosiers.
A nice passing lane. Indiana offensive line trying to cut down that very talented defensive line from Ohio State. Nice quick throw that time by Lago. You'll see a lot of that tonight. They respect the Ohio State defensive line immensely. One of the best in the country. One of the ways to combat that, quick throws and try to wear down that defensive line with tempo.
Unbelievable talent on that D-line. How about the jump ball, and knocked away in the end? Donovan Hale went up to try to get it, but broken up. I think that was Denzel Ward who got a hand in there.
And it's a great matchup between Hale and Ward, who's taking over to try to become the guy. He almost pulled that in, and when he hit the ground, that's what the impact with his back to the ground was really what brought the football out, but he had that ball caught.
A new weapon. He didn't play much of a role for Indiana last year. That pass behind Hale, the quarterback, I think thought the receiver was doing something else.
Yeah, you got to be on the same page with these quick throws. If you notice that, there have been 3 throws, and all 3 of these throws, ball's out less than 2 seconds, not giving that defensive line a chance. Only problem is now it's 3rd and 10, and now this is where they can crank up the pressure.
Well, there may not be a position group in college football with more talent than Ohio State on D-line.
And they move 4 defensive ends onto the field when they get you into obvious passing situations. A lot of speed on that D-line.
Lego, who threw 17 interceptions last year, trying to cut down on those mistakes. Another one of those jump balls. It is caught. It's a catch along the sidelines. Simi Cobbs, first down.
Great to see Simi Cobbs back. He missed all last year, as you mentioned, getting hurt early in the first play. One-handed catch, 1 foot, possesses the football, completes the catch, and that is an outstanding play by Simi Cobbs, going up to battle for that football and take it away from Sheffield.
He is a big-time talent. Now the first carry of the game for Indiana, Mike Majette. They're kind of going to go running back by committee here in Bloomington this year. Majette's the starter.
That might be worth another look. Richard Lego telling us he feels he has the best group of receivers in the Big Ten, and I said, who separates themselves? He said Cobbs can win the one-on-one battle.
That was a pretty good example of that. That's another one-on-one battle, and Cobbs won that one. Now Damon Arnett claiming that there was a push-up, but no flag.
One way you can really tell who a quarterback has kind of chemistry with, it's his roommate. Simi Cobbs and Richard Lego, they're roommates together, so that tells you they work a lot on their routes.
Lego, maybe a busted play, keeps it, and I don't think he even got back to the line of scrimmage. Tracy Sprinkle got him to the ground.
Yeah, there's a mix-up there. Sometimes with the run-pass options, the quarterback and the receivers and the running backs not always on the same page. That may have happened there.
Second down, Majette will get the carry, nowhere to go. Hit immediately. I think that's Jayshon Cornell right in the middle of the Buckeyes defense.
Yeah, they are getting dominated up front at the line of scrimmage when they try to run the football. Clearly, early in this game, it's going to be Richard Lego's arm and these receivers' ability to win in one-on-one.
Man, very quick snap on third down. Another third down completion. And guess who? Number one with the catch.
Well, you got a veteran in Cobbs who's close to an 1,000-yard receiver 2 years ago, going up against Kendall Sheffield, who's a junior college transfer. An Alabama commit, originally went junior college, but he's been out there, and now they take him off the field and get Damon Arnett back into the lineup.
Play fake. Lego on the move. Will throw short, and it is caught. That's Luke Timian, who just moved from walk-on to scholarship player a few weeks ago. And he gets a gain of maybe 7 yards on first down.
And it's another matchup that they love. Timian up against a safety in Damon Webb, where they are just spreading it out and throwing it around right now.
And they are really going fast. Lego toward the end zone. It is incomplete. Foot on the line. Ian Thomas, the tight end, arguing that he had it and was inbounds.
They may take another peek at this because he completed the process of the catch, and it looked like an attempt to drag the foot. Watch the foot. Yeah, I think that may be a score.
I think it is.
Yeah, he completed the catch without a doubt. They're definitely going to take another look at this.
Well, a lot of folks around here told us that Ian Thomas was a breakout star.
The previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field is that the pass was incomplete.
All the referees in the stands, we know where they stand. They think that was a touchdown.
Well, it looked like the left foot was down, and then the right shin kind of dragged. Let's see his left foot at the catch. And the left foot, well, the toe there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now that look,
that was a great look there, because that toe touched the line. Yeah, that's incomplete.
Which foot came down first? I think the one that was on the line.
Yeah, the left foot came down. Dave Kataya up here, who's the magician. This guy's the man when it comes to making calls.
Ooh, now that one.
Yeah,
that's close.
We just keep getting great angles.
Yeah, this
we just keep delivering the goods here. Dave, what do you think on this? Is the right foot? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, look at the stuff coming up from that foot. This is really, really close as to which foot hits first. If they hit at the same time, it's going to be incomplete.
Dave, it looked like he caught the ball while the right foot was down. It looks like a touchdown.
I think so.
I've got a catch. If he keep to me, that's a catch.
Yeah, I agree.
Rodney
to me, that's
Ames,
a catch.
Our replay official. What's the call?
With control of the ball, resulting in a touchdown.
How about it?
All we heard about this week, we want to talk about Simi Cobbs and Luke Timian and Donovan Hale and Nick Westbrook. Everybody warned us. Look out for this tight end, Ian Thomas. And we're thinking, Ian Thomas, wasn't he a tackle last year? I mean, he played tight end, but he didn't make any plays last year.
He caught 3 passes last year, all year.
And Richard was like, I'm telling you, This guy is a big-time talent. Mike DeBoard said he's an NFL tight end. There's an example of it.
I would say extra point up and good. 11-play drive. Cobbs with big plays, and then Thomas in the end zone. What a catch.
What a throw. Lego puts it exactly where he has to with Thomas. Jerome Baker in coverage. Indiana confidence, that believe, gets a little bit stronger now, up 7-3.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football is presented by Destiny 2. Available September 6th. New legends will rise. Rated T for T. And in part by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Well, a beautiful campus here in Bloomington. Very rarely has this campus been buzzing for a football game like it has been this week. And maybe, Kirk, the buzz was justified. The Hoosiers look ready to play.
Absolutely. They feel that this is a new era with Tom Allen. They have a veteran team that's come close so many times. A lot of their fans are watching this and saying, hey, this is nothing new. We've competed with these big heavyweights. We just can't finish the deal, and that's what they've really focused on in this offseason.
Indiana will kick the ball back to the Buckeyes. Ian Thomas with the 18-yard touchdown catch. Great start for the Indiana offense. Griffin Oaks with Campbell deep, and it's going to be a touchback. Well, great kickoff weekend here for college football. Maybe the best opening weekend game in the history of this sport, and that's not an exaggeration. The Chick-fil-A kickoff game presented by Wells Fargo. #1 Alabama, #3 Florida State. You will be there in Atlanta for it, and I can't wait.
It'll be fun to see, obviously, Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. Used to work for Nick Saban, but just the amount of athletes on the field. Two great quarterbacks. I think at the end of the day, the battle in the trenches will go a long way in determining the outcome of that winner when you have two teams that are that talented.
And when you say that, for me, my immediate thought is all the great athletes that Florida State has, can they hang on the line of scrimmage with Alabama? Because we know Alabama will play along the line.
Oh, yeah.
So 7-3, Indiana with the lead. Ohio State, they got points in their first drive, which is more than they did, of course, against Clemson in that college football playoff semifinal game. First down carry for the true freshman Dobbins. Let's send it down to Laura.
Yeah, Dave, they want to get more points down here. And grad assistant Corey Dennis, who's in charge of some of the communication with JT Barrett, because Kevin Wilson and Ryan Day are in the booth, telling him we've got to go faster. Tempo, we've got to wear them down. Also said if you feel it, let's stretch the field here.
That play was pretty well defended by the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I think a little mix-up there with a freshman running back. JT Barrett looked like he might potentially want to pitch that, but good coverage by Indiana. And it's interesting, Laura says the tempo, let's push that tempo, because we heard all about this. You're going to see a difference. The biggest difference you're going to see is a rhythm and a tempo from this offense, and we've not quite seen that tempo yet. We saw it from Indiana in their first drive.
Another third down. They had 3 of them on their first drive. Pressure starts to come. Barrett incomplete. Coverage was excellent. Intended for the tight end ball.
Tom Allen right now doing a great job of mixing up the looks and trying to create some confusion. What he's really done is the guys are covered downfield. And we saw that in that third down in the red zone. Look at JT Barrett. He's waiting for receivers to break free. Nobody is. That's been the other thing. Everybody wants to talk about JT Barrett and how much is he going to improve. I think the onus is on the Ohio State receivers as a group as much as it is on JT Barrett. They have not had an elite group since they won the championship in 2014.
This will be the first punt of the redshirt freshman Drew Crispin's Ohio State career, taking over for a veteran and very talented punter. So this area is a bit of a question mark. That's a line drive punt. Fair catch made right around the 28-yard line of Indiana. And so Lego and the offense, Kurt, come back on the field.
Yeah, I think anybody who watched that first series had to be really impressed with Lego. He talk about getting the ball out of his hands. His receivers were beating people, winning the one-on-one battles. 5 completions of 10 yards or more on that first series where he went 6 of 8, and a lot of it was quick throws, not allowing the defensive line to put pressure on him. How about the placement of that ball and the touchdown to Ian Thomas, who after the review got his foot down, and Mike DeBoard who comes over from Tennessee, where he worked with Josh Dobbs. Before that, he's been at Michigan, among other places. Has to be very pleased with his start of his quarterback.
Yeah, new coordinators on the offense on both sides. The run game, on the other hand, so far, not there for Indiana.
Yeah, they're going to have to pack the running game away for the night. I mean, the way they're throwing the football, even the quick hitters are working. Their running game so far tonight, -4 yards on 4 carries. And it's been complete domination with that defensive line shooting gaps.
Well, Ian Thomas can catch. He just got beat bad by Draymond Jones. That's not a good matchup for Indiana. That quick completion out to the right side, almost back to the original line of scrimmage.
And the scouting report says, how do you attack Ohio State when they've got one of the best defensive lines in the country and they lost 3 players in the first round in the back end? You want to test the new faces in that secondary, especially with a veteran quarterback and what they say is the strength of their offense, the receivers.
Well, they converted 3 third downs on that first drive. Pressure comes. Lego's going to dump it short. It is dropped. Probably wouldn't have mattered. But the drop ensures 4th and 10 and a punt coming.
Yeah, and the beauty of having 4, remember, they have 4 defensive ends in the game. They show blitz, and then they drop out. Linebackers drop out. Look how the pocket collapses on top of Richard Lego. Even by the check down, you've got 2 linebackers sitting there waiting for him. And that's the beauty, again, of the speed and the athletic ability and just how physical that defensive line can be when they get you to 3rd down.
Now this will be interesting. Hayden Whitehead, who has never played in an American-style football game. That's his first play in his football career, essentially, and he punted it fairly nicely to the sideline. Welcome to United States football, Hayden. Ohio State gets the ball when we come back.
When new Ohio State offensive coordinator Kevin Wilson and quarterbacks coach Ryan Day were trying to figure out how they were going to split up play calling, they had a long debate about whether Ryan Day should be on the field with JT Barrett. They ended up deciding that because of Barrett's experience, they could put Day up in the booth. He'd be more valuable there for calling plays. That way, Kevin Wilson can keep his head in the call sheet, focus on that. Ryan Day, guys, can watch the field and make adjustments that way. I will say there seemed to be some confusion with JT Barrett's headset that's supposed to go only to Ryan Day early on in this game, maybe a reason for some of the issues offensively.
All right, thanks, Laura. On first down, there's the true freshman first to start at running back for Ohio State with the injury to Mike Weber since Maurice Claret, and he catches on first down and gets a nice gain across the 30-yard line.
Indiana's still doing a good job covering down the Ohio State secondary. JT Barrett, nice job of staying patient and then checking it down instead of running with the feet.
Handoff straight ahead, stopped, I think, just a little bit short of the first down. We'll see. And maybe not. That spot in the end looks pretty generous. It is an Indiana, or an Ohio State, rather, first down.
Remember, I've said Urban Meyer's offense opens up when he hits a vertical pass, something to stretch a defense, something to stretch them downfield. It opens up so many different aspects of his offense, like it would for any offense, but especially this option-oriented offense where the quarterback is a run threat. They've really struggled to be able to do that.
They're going to throw on first down, short right side, and an immediate tackle by one of the very best defensive backs, really, in the Big Ten, certainly on this Indiana team, deep. Tony Fields, who's got a lot of playing experience at safety for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, they're rotating he and Dutra both in at that safety spot. They've got a lot of depth and a lot of confidence in guys that can play at different levels of this defense.
Second down and 9. That throw down the field is incomplete, and the hit came in from Tony Fields to knock it away.
Well, they ran that wheel route to the left for success. He gets by the defensive end again. This is a mismatch to go by Gooch, but as you said, the safety does a really good job of coming over to separate Dobbins from the football.
The 2 straight plays by Tony Fields to set up 3rd and 9. It's early, but number 2 on the road being tested. Barrett again is going to have to check down. And that open field tackle, beautifully done, will stop Ohio State short.
Well, they're trying to do it, basically put the game into the hands of JT Barrett again on 3rd down, rushing 3, spying with the defensive end Greg Gooch, and then dropping 8 into coverage. And as much as you try to spread them out horizontally, they've got guys out there that can make plays, and that time Fant does a nice job in the open field of keeping Williams short of the first down.
Well, Tom Allen, he may be a new head coach. He is a proven defensive coach, and he's got a lot of experience and a lot of talent on that side of the ball. End-over-end punt, and that's going to bounce and take an Ohio State bounce inside the 15, and it's still rolling all the way down to the 11-yard line. So that was executed nicely by Drew Chrisman. Well, it might be the only game that you're not doing this weekend. Capital One Sunday night kickoff game. How about West Virginia, Virginia Tech? 2 top 25 teams. You're going to be everywhere, but not at this one.
I'd love to be there. I'll be watching. That is a great game. A nice rivalry on the open weekend. And I think both these teams feel, you look at their ranking, both these teams feel that they have the talent to come back to compete in their conferences. Let's get a good feel where they are week one.
Will Grier makes his debut at quarterback for West Virginia. Very talented guy. So we'll see. You're here tonight. Saturday night, Alabama, Florida State. Monday, you get Georgia Tech, Tennessee.
Yeah, can't wait.
With college game day on Saturday squeezed in as well. Lego over the top. It hits the helmet of the Buckeyes defensive back and falls incomplete.
Well, that is a clinic reel by Jerome Baker, the linebacker, reading the eyes of the tight end. He had his back to the quarterback, but does a good job reading the eyes and then getting his hand back to be able to knock that ball away.
Yeah, he looked like a DB. Now this time the pass perfectly thrown right on the money to Donovan Hale. First down, Indiana.
Ohio State bringing pressure. How about Lego focusing downfield into the teeth of that pressure, puts the ball exactly where it needs to be to Donovan Hale.
28-yard completion. Lego looks good, doesn't he?
Boy, he does.
In the pocket this time, pressured, spinning, going down. And there's the first sack of 2017 for Tyquan Lewis, who has led this Buckeyes team in sacks for 2 straight years.
You know, Lego last year, coming out of junior college, started for Kevin Wilson in this offense, and I think his head was spinning a little bit in his first year becoming a starter.
Well, that, again, I don't think was exactly what Indiana was hoping for.
You don't want to run the option against this defense, especially with Richard Lego, who's more of a drop-back quarterback. But I think he took ownership of the 17 interceptions, talked to it with his teammates, about it with his teammates, and came back this year more of a leader and more in control and command of this team. And you can kind of see and feel his mojo from up here.
3rd and 12, that throw, and it's knocked away incomplete. Nice play on the ball by Denzel Ward. Intended for Hale, it's 4th down.
That is a really good play there by Ward. Remember, these Indiana receivers have been winning a lot of these one-on-one matchups. And this time, again, Ward has to have a feel. Is he going to go by me, or is it going to be a back shoulder throw? He kind of sensed it, felt it, read the eyes, read the energy that time of Hale, came back and got his right hand in there to knock that football away. That's big-time play by Denzel Ward.
Yeah, one of the many defensive backs who just don't have a ton of experience with all the talent at that position the last couple of years. We know Ward's got talent. Fair catch after a good punt. KJ Hill makes it, and the Buckeyes get the ball back. By the way, our aerial coverage tonight provided by Goodyear, committed to honoring blimp-worthy athletes who demonstrate hard work on and off the field. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff, which is certainly where Ohio State wants to end up this year.
I was just saying to the guys downstairs, this is the first time I've had a chance to work with you guys. I work with Saturday with Bill Bonnell, our producer, and Derek Mobley and that whole crew, and I said, this is honestly the fastest game tempo-wise, especially with Indiana, I think I've ever called. I mean, I called some Chip Kelly and Oregon games where it was bing, 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 but Indiana, by the time you look down, the ball snapped again. And they're cranking the tempo up.
It's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out as the game goes on. Yeah. One thing we know, Indiana's defense has a pretty good game plan against Ohio State.
Oh, they do. They came into this game. Remember, last year they did a great job of defending J.T. Barrett. He was 9 of 21, struggled throwing the ball, and they want to put the game again on his shoulders tonight. Not just his, the receivers as well.
Play fake. Barrett has an open receiver, and it's dropped. That ball was dropped, I think. And now finally we get the call. Yeah, that's incomplete. Johnny Dixon.
If we had a good look at his eyes, you would see that he took a peek up, the field, a defender coming in after he bobbled it the first time. Arsenio Ball right there, the Husky linebacker. You can see Dixon look up, and here it is, another third down for J.T. Barrett. Remember, they've been rushing 3 and dropping 8. Let's see what they do on this third down. It's been very effective for them so far.
And you said it already, it's not all on Barrett. He needs some help from those receivers being pressured. And he is going to throw it away again. Nowhere to go with the ball.
Well, they did it again. They rushed 3. They spied again with their defensive end. Dropped. Basically, if you include the spy, there's 8 guys back there in coverage. You'll see the spy come from over here. He'll kind of sink, but you look into that secondary, try to figure out who's open. You want to put everything on J.T. Barrett. Look at the coverage. Well, who are you going to throw the football to? So before everybody wants to say what's wrong with J.T. Barrett, you might want to look to find out. I don't care if Joe Montana's back there. If there aren't open receivers, you're going to have to throw the ball away.
Joe would have been throwing it to the bench too. Yeah. He would have been. So another punt coming.
That was for you.
Yeah, Joe's one of my guys, that's for sure.
Timeout, Ohio State. Their second timeout of the half.
Well, Urban Meyer does not look thrilled.
No, he's livid. You know, he's talking to the punt team, but I think this has as much to do with the offense as it does the punt team. Remember, this is a team that all they heard about was what's wrong with the offense. Not just 31-0 against Clemson, but really the back half of the season, they struggled. And, of course, this game, a great motivator in the offseason where Ohio State could not get a whole lot going and, truth be told, got embarrassed. They didn't just lose to Clemson on a big stage. They got humiliated by Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers, and that's a hard one for any coach, but especially as competitive as Urban Meyer is, to walk off the field. All they talked about in the offseason was improving the offense, and they're off to a slow start here in this first quarter.
Well, Urban had coached 194 games in his career, and that was the first time any of his teams had ever been shut out. And it was, I mean, you said it, it was the culmination of the way the end of the year went for Ohio State. The offense just sputtered out.
Yeah, and I think it was building throughout the year. I think they really got away from being able to stretch defenses horizontally and vertically, and they kind of played from a box, and the better defenses were able to defend them. And they really got to a point where they said, listen, we don't fear anything past 15 yards downfield. They're not going to throw it behind us. Let's cover everything in tight and try to take away Curtis Samuel and J.T. Barrett running the ball, and that's going to keep us in the game. And that's what Ohio State with Kevin Wilson and Ryan Day, that's what they've gone to work on, trying to improve.
Oh, by the way, we thought maybe we might see Peyton Ramsey, who takes his first snap of his college career, a coach's kid, a redshirt freshman, and he can run a little bit.
Yeah, dual threat out of Cincinnati Elder. Great program out of the Cincinnati area, and his dad is the coach, Doug Ramsey. Long tradition there. And his son is a warrior, tough kid as a dual threat.
They really like him. Another fake, again, keeps it straight ahead across the 45, stopped around the 47.
If you think about it, it's a great compliment to how they've been attacking. There's Mike DeBoer, the offensive coordinator, who told us yesterday, you're going to see Ramsey, the freshman, and I think it's a great compliment. Everything that's been successful tonight has been spread, receivers winning one-on-one, balls out fast. All of us at Ohio State, they look at the sidelines, now you're dealing with option football and +1 with the quarterbacks running the ball.
This will be interesting. Do they have faith in him to throw the ball? It's tipped and caught anyway. What a great effort. Ryan Watercutter, the second tight end, picked it clean before it hit the turf.
That's a great call. The defense is all of a sudden getting lulled to sleep, thinking quarterback run, quarterback run, quarterback run. You have 2 defenders take the quarterback, and Booker or Holmes, nobody drops in the flat.
They're going to pitch it, left side run, and a pretty short gain. Devontae Williams, who's got maybe a little more burst, maybe a little more explosive than the starter, Majette.
You start to think about this much tempo, Dave. All the lifting and the running and the practices in August. This is the first game. Is fatigue going to start to become a factor? Ohio State doing the best job they can of rotating bodies in and out. But against this kind of tempo, first game, you better hope you're in good shape if you're going to last 60 minutes.
Yeah, I think you're right. So that's going to be the final play of this first quarter. And J.T. Barrett wondering what's going on here. Ohio State got the first 3 points of this game. Since then, Indiana has really controlled the action on both sides of the ball. Maybe the biggest build-up to any game in this program's history. And right now, the Hoosiers look up to the task. They lead the number 2 ranked Buckeyes 7-3. You're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. A beautiful Thursday night in Bloomington, Indiana. The Hoosiers feeling like they're primed for an upset, and they lead the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes after quarter number 1, 7-3. Indiana has the ball as we start the second quarter. Tom Allen coached the bowl game for Indiana last year, but this is his first full year as the head coach of the Hoosiers.
I think the only group that's not surprised is the Indiana players on that sideline. By the way, the freshman Ramsey still in the game here on this drive.
Yeah, they were committed to using him. He's going to roll out again, and he's going to run against that Ohio State speed. Goes down as he gets out of bounds.
Good decision to get out of there. But you can just, again, I think it is outstanding to see how they attack through the air, and then bring him in to complement Lego, who's not a threat at all, running the football.
So young Peyton Ramsey, the first series of his college career, on third down will throw incomplete. Intended for Luke Timian. So now fourth down. They are on the Ohio State side of the field.
If you're up 7-3, you want to play field position. Try to pin the Ohio State offense, which has been struggling here early in this game. Try to pin them back in, maybe even inside the 10-yard line.
So this is where the new punter making his Indiana debut, Hayden Whitehead, will try to do just that. And I think he's done it inside the 10 at about the 7-yard line. Good punt. Well, the matchup that's going to close out our outstanding Labor Day weekend, the first full weekend of this 2017 college football season, number 25 Tennessee and Georgia Tech from Atlanta again. Our coverage starts Monday at 8 Eastern right here on ESPN. It'll stream live on the app, and Kurt, you'll be there for that one as well.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. I always love watching Paul Johnson's offense in person. And, you know, with Butch Jones, he's got to make a decision at quarterback. We'll see which way he goes. And there's always great pressure on that Tennessee program. You know, no big deal. Just win the SEC East every year. And if you don't, then what's wrong with you? So, you know, he obviously wants to get off to a great start.
It feels like maybe even more pressure on Tennessee than usual, which is saying something. From inside the 15, the handoff. And that is still the true freshman, J.K. Dobbins, who started this game at running back.
Let's see if Barrett can get going here. You go back to last year. His last 94 attempts in passing the football, only one 20-yard completion. That's why he's facing defenses that are crowding the line.
Wow. He'll throw short there. It is caught. Short of a first down along the right sideline. That's Terry McLaurin, who is a 6'1 junior. Started a few games last year. Third and 2. A handoff straight ahead. Did he get it? I don't know. Very close, but I don't think so. And it's not the part of the field where you figure that Ohio State can gamble and go for it, even on fourth and very short. Robert McCray made the stop.
Well, watch Robert McCray shoot the gap and get off of the block there. Does a nice job of getting to the inside. He was responsible for the inside gap, used his leverage in his hands to get down. He's been hurt a little bit. Last year he was hurt first half of 16, but really came on. And Tom Allen said he's probably the most athletic and most gifted defensive lineman that they have, and he showed it again there.
He did. What a stop. That means another Ohio State punt on fourth and less than a yard. That's a good punt. A fair catch inside the 35. So Indiana tried to play the field position game, but Ohio State special teams helped them out there. Hoosiers do get the ball back when we come back to Bloomington, leading Ohio State 7-3. Well, from Bloomington on this Thursday night, Indiana leading Ohio State 7-3. Second quarter, one of the all-time Hoosier greats was here for College Game Day before the game, and guess who joins us in the booth? Coach Corso, welcome back to Bloomington.
Right.
How's it feel to be back?
Emotional, I can't tell you. I told Kirk there, as a football coach, when you die, you leave pieces of you within the players. And to see those 100 players come back and do what they did for me and getting that honor, I can't tell you how much it meant to me, the players.
And you had a nice afternoon lunch and visit with those 90 or 100 guys that came back to see you.
There are a lot of your former Hoosiers who are here tonight. This is the first time game day has been here in Bloomington ever. And this was just a few moments ago. Down on the field, this is what you were talking about, Coach, with all your former players gathered. They gave you an award, and then what happened? They lifted you up.
Yeah, and the Bill Orrick Award is very special because it goes to the person who did the most for Indiana that's not a graduate. And guys like Doc Conselman, Bobby Knight, and all those guys have won it before I did.
You know, it was the best thing, I think, of all time. You guys took a team photo down there.
Yeah.
And when you took the team photo, you know what I thought was ironic? The score of the game is Indiana 7, Ohio State 3. Just like your story.
But it's different now.
Oh, it is.
When we did that, Indiana had never, 25 years, been ahead of Woody Hayes.
Yeah.
They wouldn't ahead of him. You know, I got ahead and I called a timeout and took the whole team down, took a team picture, and Woody threw his hat at me. And after the game, the guy says, Coach, you want another picture? I said, no, 47-7 don't look too good.
Oh, you timed it perfect. By the way, there was a flag on the Buckeyes, and here come your Hoosiers.
But let me tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, they have scouted Ohio State, and their corners can't cover 6'5" receivers.
No.
And that's all they're doing. They're playing catch with those guys out there, and that's all it is.
Yeah, that and the fact that a lot of these are new faces. Ohio State's lost so many players to the NFL in that secondary.
And if they don't get the, I tell you one thing, they're not getting them because he's throwing the ball so quick off his hand. And Ohio State looks like offensively they're one-dimensional. Throw and throw. I tell you, they got to establish a running game, or that kid is going to beat them.
Yeah, they have not found that rhythm yet that everybody had hoped or talked about in Columbus. Still kind of trying to search for it. But Lego looks great tonight, getting the ball out quick.
Well, as long as he does that, you watch him, because if you put the pressure on him and make him move, he'll throw the ball to your team. Mm-hmm. And that's what they got hold of.
What do you think where he was playing really well, and they went to the freshman, Peyton Ramsey, more of a runner, and you know, as well as he was throwing, they ended up maybe losing a little bit of the rhythm.
Absolutely. He got to stick with that kid. I tell you what, they're going to win only if he throws the ball. There's no question about it. Now, and I like the fact that he's throwing the ball to the wideout. See that? He's throwing the ball one-on-one with the wideouts. In case Ohio State doesn't go to zone defense pretty soon, they're going to get beat.
Yeah, the strength of the Indiana offense is Lego throwing it, and he's got a great group of wide receivers.
Absolutely.
And Ohio State's strength's that defensive line, so they're getting it out quick, and they're winning the one-on-one battles on the outside.
And no matter how many guys they send, they can't get to him because he's so quick. Boom.
Yep.
Well, I think they're trying to decide. That was a good tackle by Ohio State to stop Indiana just short of a first down. I think the Hoosiers want to know how short they are so they can decide whether they're going for it.
Oh, you mean go for it? What the hell? You're 20-point underdogs. You got a full house here, and go for it. I don't care where they are, on the 30, 40-yard line.
New head coach, just go for it.
Go for it, buddy. Go for it.
I think he's with you.
He better be with me. Now, you know what? Everybody's saying, all the crowd say, yeah, go for it. If he makes it, they'll say, what a dumb coach that is. He should have punted.
And here's where you don't know whether they can move the ball on the ground. On 4th and 1, it's a pass, and it's a first down. Why not?
Well, why not? And I tell you what, why not? It's against the cornerbacks again.
It's a nice screen. It's actual pick here by Simi Cobbs. Number one, he takes the corner and runs into the nickelback who is covering the slot receiver.
Oh, be darned.
Well, they're going for it tonight, aren't they? There's Cobbs, incomplete.
And the last time I saw a play like that was Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
When he threw the ball against Alabama for a touchdown.
That's right.
It was similar. That play got a lot of attention all offseason. Well, these wideouts in this passing game giving Urban Meyer some problems.
They will continue. There's no chance of them unless they've got to put Ohio State's got to find a way to put pressure on them.
Now, there is a penalty flag down.
Ohio State may have had 12 defenders on the field.
That's one way of stopping them.
Yeah, they
run somebody else out there.
Substitution. 12 men in formation on the defense.
You know,
that's a 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
What happens when you're breaking in 3 new secondary players against a tempo that's going about every 13 seconds? First game of the year, there's going to be some miscommunication with some new guys. And at that time, Kendall Sheffield tried to rush off the field, but too late.
Exactly.
Well, Indiana still has not committed a penalty in this game. Ohio State's had a couple on this drive. And the Hoosiers are inside the 15-yard line, already leading 7-3. Coach Corso is with us, just honored a few moments ago. Incomplete.
Now, that's a great play by the defensive corner on a crossing route. Well, now watch. Fake the cross, go up to the corner, throw a touchdown against the guy.
They could. Denzel Ward is the one guy with a lot of experience from last year. The other 3 defenders, of course, we talked all game, that are playing in the NFL. They lost 3 first-rounders.
Now 3rd and 5. Little pump fake, and that one tipped and intercepted. Off the tip ball. Down the sideline, out of bounds at the 40-yard line. That's Jordan Fuller, the safety. And Ohio State fans can take a deep breath for the moment.
But the tip, I think, is an important thing to realize, because if Kendall Sheffield doesn't get a hand on that football, I think that ball goes by him and it's a touchdown. So as much as we want to talk about Fuller, 8 in white gets his hand right there, and that's what allowed Fuller to step in front of that, or that is a touchdown pass right there for Indiana.
But they were playing zone defense that time. You notice 8 played short and then reacted to the ball. That's the only way Ohio State's going to stop them, is to mix up their coverage on the cornerbacks.
Well, that's the first turnover of this season opener for the Hoosiers and the Buckeyes. Lego, who had 17 of them last year. And Coach Corso, you talked about that, how last year he had a tendency to throw the ball to the other team. That one may not have been on him. That was just a great play. Now Barrett trying to go downfield. Into coverage, flag thrown, and it's almost intercepted. But there was a lot of contact. We'll see. That may be going against the defense.
A lot of big push that time by Indiana. It looked like Andre Brown completely in the way of the Ohio State receiver, affected him trying to get downfield.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Benjamin Victor, who they think can get downfield. Watch 14. Prevents him from being able to stay on his route, just locks him up, and officials right on top of that. First time we've seen Ohio State, even though they didn't hit it, they get the interference, throwing the ball downfield.
At least taking a chance. They got to do that. Now that first penalty on the Hoosiers puts the Buckeyes into Indiana territory. And off on first down. There's the quickness and the moves of the freshman. J.K. Dobbins gets to the outside, to the 15 and inside the 10. Wow. Well, that may be the play that announces his arrival.
There's the jump cut and the quickness right there. I mean, that's vision. Look at that. For a true freshman, it's one thing to be in all of his quickness and acceleration, but the vision and the cut, the lateral movement by Dobbins.
And a nice play by a Texan, right?
Yeah. Native
of LaGrange.
He told me
he was from Texas.
Yep.
He is. LaGrange, Texas, the true freshman. Starting tonight with Mike Weber out.
There's that jump cut right there.
Boy.
They love that kid.
First time we've seen him get out. And just like that, I mean, Indiana's driving potentially to go up 14-3, maybe 10-3 worst case. Interception, pass interference, big run. Now the Buckeyes are down at the 10-yard line.
Now that run was 35 yards from the freshman Dobbins. Second and goal for Ohio State. J.T. Barrett over the top and incomplete. There was some contact. T. Scales in coverage against the tight end, but no flag.
I'm with you on that. There's a lot of contact there. Scales is a great player, but he's learned a few tricks in his day. Grabbed on to the tight end. Looked like he grabbed onto his jersey, Lee. See if he does. Right here at the top.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but the one thing that bothers me, Ohio State's got first down in the near goal line, and they're throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing. Woody Hayes is rolled over in his grave right now.
It was 1st and goal, 2 straight pass plays. Now it's 3rd and goal.
Yeah. Throw.
JT Barrett. He's going to tuck and try to run for it. Barrett to the corner, shoved out of bounds. Just swarmed. He couldn't get there.
His big tackle, actually his left guard, Michael Jordan, was trying to, 73, was trying to find somebody to block, and JT Barrett ended up trying to get to the outside. Jordan didn't pick up anybody, but nonetheless, JT Barrett able to pick up positive yards, and it looks like Urban Meyer bringing in the field goal unit.
And there is a psychological play. 2 plays have done difference. They forced him to kick a field goal to start the game, and now they forced him a field goal another time when they get the goal line offense. They've got to develop a running plays inside the goal line area, or they're not going to be the number 2 team in the nation.
That's a good point you make. The field goal is up and good.
Yeah, look at Tom Allen. Tom Allen's fired up. Sure. That is a win for Indiana.
There's a famous score, 7-6.
Congratulations,
Coach. Call timeout. Coach, could I get a picture of that?
Call timeout.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football, brought to you by Jiffy Lube, proudly pouring Pennzoil Synthetics, and Mitsubishi Motors, a century of innovation.
You think our friend has had a great day back in Bloomington, Indiana?
Without a doubt. Yeah, you know who's had a better day? His players. His players, when I've traveled with him and he bumps into one of them, they're both crying, and that's just for one of them when he sees them, let alone having 100 of them together. I mean, his players mean everything to him.
Well, I'm so glad that you guys could be here for this Thursday night sort of kickoff game to get our first full weekend started with College Game Day, and part of that so Coach Corso can be here.
Absolutely.
Game Day never been here before until tonight.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun on the show, and it's obviously we got a great game tonight.
We do. 1-point game, 2nd quarter. Indiana's going to get the ball back here. And good kick coverage. The special teams coverage for Ohio State has been excellent. Let's go back down on the field to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, you and Kirk have been talking about the rapid pace of Indiana's offense, and this Ohio State defense is feeling it. They've been very quiet on the benches when they get off the field because all they can do is breathe. Athletic trainers telling them to take some deep breaths. The one thing is it's pretty cool down here, so the heat or anything like that isn't affecting them, but they are gassed at this point.
Laura, already 35 snaps for Indiana. 35, and we've got 10 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. I mean, you're talking about more than likely, if they maintain this, you're talking about going over 100 snaps tonight.
Yeah, you're right on pace for that. You're right. So Indiana, who moved the ball the last time they had it, then the tip ball interception snuffed out the drive right as they were in the red zone. Lego, play fake. And no, he gave the ball to his running back. I've become so accustomed to the play fake, I thought they might not hand it off again tonight.
Well, they haven't been able to run the ball much when Lego is in there, but the guy that's in there now, Morgan Ellison, he is a true freshman, actually out of Columbus, Ohio, and they think that he could be a real power back for them this year. He's now flanked all the way to the top, so it's an empty set.
They like him a lot. His first play of his college career. They're going in that direction, but instead to the wide receiver, Hale, incomplete.
Lee was just up here talking about the matchups. You and I have been talking the entire first quarter about how Indiana's winning the one-on-one matchups. I'll tell you who's starting to starting to feel the routes and starting to understand things is 12. Denzel Ward is starting to be not only stride for stride, it's all about the timing with these great defensive backs. He went up against the big tight end and knocked that football away.
The bad news for Ohio State, he does have to come out of the game. I don't know if that's a wrist or a hand issue or what. But he's on the sideline for 3rd and 9 with time. Lego, that one was tipped, I think, but it's completed anyway. And there's the tight end, Ian Thomas, running wide open out to the 45.
Well, there's a broken coverage there with some new people coming into the secondary. They had 2 receivers breaking free. If he would have found the smaller receiver that time, Timian, that's a touchdown.
So instead, just the big pass play through the air. Now on the ground, their best run of the night.
You can see they put trips into the boundary. Watch this receiver creating some confusion, getting behind Ohio State. Boy, if he saw him, he walks to the end zone.
That pass is caught, left sideline, first down Indiana, and more. Simmie Cobbs fighting the Buckeyes defense inside the 30.
And again, it's that same combination of Lego getting back, getting the ball out, and his receivers winning on the outside, winning those one-on-one battles. Simmie Cobbs is a very tough matchup with his size, 6'4".
And that quick tempo continues, Kirk, that you said might be the fastest tempo that you can remember.
Yeah, I've not seen. I mean, obviously there are a lot of fast tempos. It's in vogue the last 7 or 8 years in college football. But Mike DeBoer, as a new first-year offensive coordinator, has implemented a rhythm and a tempo here that Richard Lego feels comfortable with.
Play fake, that one-on-one matchup, and I think it's another one-handed grab by Cobbs. He's already done it once tonight. He did it again.
And that's actually pretty good coverage by Kendall Sheffield. It's just a placement of the ball, and Cobbs going up on the back shoulder and making a catch, getting the right foot down for another first down inside the 10.
Man. So it's first and goal. Lego over the top for Cobbs, and that time, I think it went right through his hands.
I mean, right now, Richard Lego looks like, you've played all Madden, the Madden video game. He looks like he's playing a video game back there. I mean, he looks so comfortable with the ball placement. He couldn't walk down there and put it any better as far as placement is concerned to where he's thrown the ball to Simmie Cobbs. I mean, talk about getting into a zone.
Well, that guy, Urban Meyer, he's got to be concerned. Second and goal. That one incomplete. And number 12 back in the game, Denzel Ward. Might be time to pick on somebody else if you're Indiana.
Well, they have such confidence in Cobbs. I don't think they care who's on him. It's been a lot of Kendall Sheffield, and this time it's Denzel Ward who checks back into the game. As you said, it looked like he had a hand or a thumb injury, but he is matched up at the bottom. That's a heck of a matchup. They've gone there 3 straight times, and they're going to try it again.
On third and goal, Ohio State showing some pressure. A little play fake, and they will try it again to Cobbs. Touchdown! Great coverage. What else are you going to do?
That's the 4th straight time, and I don't know how many times on the night. There's a matchup that they like, and they're going to go back to it over and over and over. And what I love is that Lego puts the ball up high where Cobbs can make a play on the ball. Ward that time did not get his head turned around, relied on his hands to try to separate the ball. But look at Cobbs fight for this football again for Indiana. What a night he's got. So far, just 6 receptions, 94 yards, and a touchdown.
Both of the touchdown passes also on third down for Indiana. They're converting third downs. They're using their weapons, and they've got a 14-6 lead.
It's one of those scores that people start to hear around the country, and no matter whether it's Twitter or you're watching or you're listening, it's like Indiana 14, Ohio State 6 with 8:12 to go in the second quarter. Woo, I better turn that one on. We got a ball game here in Bloomington.
Taco Bell, a proud partner of the College Football Playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. And if there are any Indiana students that are not here at Memorial Stadium yet, they're making their way across campus. They're on their way. You got to be here for this one.
By the way, what an awesome campus. Great the last couple days to walk around and talk about one of the more beautiful campuses that we've seen. This is nice here.
Beautiful.
Looking over at Assembly Hall.
Upgrading the athletic facilities on the football side. Assembly Hall, some of the most hallowed grounds in college basketball. Touchback. Indiana with the 14-6 lead. Let's go down to Laura.
Guys, JT Barrett's been talking to his receivers as they've come up to him and apologized for not being open. Victor, Dixon, McLaurin, a few of them who've done this, and Barrett consoling them, saying, hey guys, it's fine, we're going to be okay. Kirk, you can just see how calm JT Barrett is at all times.
Well, Laura, I think that's a great point, and I think it's something that Ohio State has always been able to rely on with him is the intangibles. But at this point, maybe a little fire is needed. I mean, and it's nice of those guys to apologize, but right now, as everybody points the finger at number 16, I'm looking at the wide receivers to see if they're going to throw the ball, who's going to be able to get separation and try to get open to try to help JT Barrett out.
Indiana wide receivers 13 catches. Ohio State wide receivers now 5 catches, and that's a positive gain. McLaurin across the middle, first down.
Yeah, JT Barrett does a nice job using his eyes to move the defense to the outside, which opened up a nice throwing lane, and he put it right on the money that time to McLaurin.
16 yards on first down. And let's see if that can get the Buckeyes in a little offensive rhythm. A little play fake, another one. And a throw down the sideline to the bench, incomplete.
Yeah, that play was very reminiscent of last year, where he gets back, he wants to throw the football, it's not there, and there's nowhere to check the football down. He kind of had a little bit of that unsure, uncertain, those feet are moving up and down, and just didn't quite have an answer there. Good coverage by Indiana.
Yeah, there was no safety valve. 2nd and 10. They fake the handoff. Quick hitter out to Campbell, and he breaks a tackle. Gets to the sideline, wrestled out of bounds. Paris Campbell with a nice gain. Stopped short of a first down, but third down and much shorter.
That's a part of the new offense that Kevin Wilson wants to be able to exploit against defenses. If you're going to leave 2-on-2 to the outside, they feel that they have got to be able to abort. That's a running call. The offensive linemen and the running backs, they're running the football, but the inside receiver, the coverage was 10 or 15 yards off. They're just taught to come off, quick throw to the outside and try to pick up yards, make somebody miss.
On third down, JT Barrett so far 3 of 6. Only 2 of those were good enough for a first down.
And in these situations, that Ohio State offensive line's been losing the battle at the line of scrimmage.
The handoff, and they didn't exactly blow Indiana off the line, but I do think the Buckeyes get the first down. Across midfield, they had to get right to that 49. I think they did it.
And you think about an Ohio State-Indiana matchup. Lee Corso, old school, talking about Woody Hayes, and you think Ohio State would have a huge advantage in the trenches. If that's the case, we have not seen that at all for a quarter and a half. In fact, Indiana, when Ohio State's tried to run, they've been pushing the Ohio State offensive line back. Now, we'll see if that continues, but that's been the case so far here.
That was a big conversion, though, for the Buckeyes. First down, Dobbins with the carry, and you can see he just finds those little creases, how talented this freshman is.
I mean, he fought for every yard that he picked up there. He's slithering through and just keeping his legs driving, and you're right, he is a good-looking, true freshman running back out of Texas.
With Mike Weber, we don't know if he's totally unavailable, but he hadn't played yet. We're figuring he's not going to play if he didn't start and hasn't been in there yet. That's another first down on the ground from Dobbins.
Yeah, Kevin Wilson and company, that offensive staff, saying, hey, let's try to run the football and see if they can take control of the line of scrimmage. There they go.
Dobbins gets through to the 20. Inside the 15 and still going inside the 10. It'll be first and goal, Ohio State.
That's a great job of the right side of the Ohio State offensive line. Isaiah Prince, Marcus Ball, watched him push and collapse it. Then you had the left guard pulling around Michael Jordan. And we've seen early here with Dobbins, if there's only one defender, he's got a pretty good chance of either running over him or around him and making him miss. And good job by that line that time.
He's over 100 yards already now in the red zone. Ohio State in this first half. 6 plays, a total of 11 yards, and they've kicked 2 field goals. And now it's Antonio Williams in there in the backfield with JT Barrett. Barrett's going to keep it. Barrett 5 and close. I think stopped short inside the 1.
It's as if the offensive line is listening here, because these last 3 plays, they've really asserted themselves, and I think they're starting to gain some confidence here in these last 4 or 5 plays.
And now the Buckeyes trying to go fast. They got to the line of scrimmage very quickly. Barrett will hand it off, and it's a touchdown. Antonio Williams punches it in, and that's the first touchdown of the year for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, Ohio State that time 9 plays, 75 yards, and that's a good mix. Early in that drive, you saw him throwing the football, but I think that's more of what Urban Meyer wants to see, an ability to take control of the line of scrimmage, run the football when you have to. And when you start pounding a defense like that, boy, you start to see play action. Linebackers and safeties will get out of position. Then you can get into the passing game that can complement a power running game.
Well, we know how tough it was for them to throw last year against Indiana. They did run for 290 yards in that matchup with the Hoosiers. And maybe some relief for the Buckeyes in the end zone for the first time this year. Dobbins kind of leading the way down the field. Antonio Williams with the touchdown. It's a 1-point game. Well, great one here on Thursday night in Bloomington. That one should be fantastic. Number 3 against number 1. Maybe truly the best opening weekend game in the history of college football. Alabama, Florida State. Meanwhile, the number 2 ranked team, sandwiched in between those two, has its hands full tonight. But a big touchdown drive for the Buckeyes makes it a 1-point game. Now the kickoff, I think deliberately short, taken right around the 5-yard line. Devontae Williams bounces it outside. He's got some quickness. Out to about the 27-yard line.
We noticed one of our cameras, and you and I were talking about at the break, the young kid maybe get his chance for his first touchdown. I think he was thinking the same thing. Antonio Williams went in for him, and Urban said, hold on. You got a huge future, but let's catch your breath over here. He did a lot of the work there, but Williams ends up getting the touchdown. Dobbins, I have a feeling, is going to have a lot of touchdowns in his career at Ohio State.
I have that feeling, too.
Let's see how Indiana responds. You know, Ohio State took control there. Lego is on fire throwing the football tonight. Had a lot of success so far throwing to Simi Cobbs. They've won a lot of one-on-one battles. Let's see how Ohio State tries to defend Cobbs in these one-on-one matchups.
And it is a true freshman Columbus kid in the backfield. That was a pretty good cut by Morgan Ellison. He gets the carry for a positive gain on first down.
If you're just tuning in, one thing you're going to see right away, the tempo tonight from Indiana. I mean, they're snapping the ball about every 13 seconds.
2nd and 6. That throw with an open receiver right at midfield is complete. That's Donovan Hale again. And here comes Indiana rushing to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, here they're going to go fast. Look at this pressure. Ohio State decided to try to challenge Lego, catch him off guard. They bring the blitz, but again, gets the ball out of his hands quickly, gives his receiver Hale a chance to make a play up high.
He just looks so poised right now. That quick hitter out to the left sideline and cutting it up field. Luke Timian for the gain on first down.
To the far end with the glasses, yelling into his microphone, and you see is Greg Schiano, the new defensive coordinator who's taken over for Luke Fickell. Right now he's trying to come up with answers. Surprised they've not put safeties over top of these corners to try to help them in these one-on-one matchups.
Well, one of the great defensive minds, that's for sure. That's another completion over the middle, and it's that guy again. Luke Timian's been everywhere.
You know, that time they did just that. They did put 2 safeties high, but the problem is if you don't cover underneath, Luke Timian can win those option routes against the linebackers. So you take away the deep ball, and they say, okay, we're going to go to the inside and try to win that matchup.
On the move again, the Hoosiers. They're going over the top again, incomplete. Hale just couldn't quite angle back underneath the ball. 2nd down.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, Ohio State secondary, you got to remember now, over the last couple years, they've lost 4 first-rounders, 3 corners, and a safety in just the last couple years. They lost 3 out of this secondary just last year. And these new guys that are out there, they are getting really tested to be the first game of the year as a starter, and you're facing this quarterback and these receivers.
We still got 4 minutes to go in the first half. Over 260 yards passing and the sack. That was Nick Bosa who got his hand on the ankle, and I think Bosa will get credit for the sack there.
Yeah, Bosa with some bend here. Younger brother of Joey Bosa. Remember, 6'4", 270. Look at him bend and lean. Goes down, and if you can get pressure, Lego is not the most fleet-footed. But you could see Bosa, the athletic ability. He's known for his power, but there he shows you the athletic ability as he turns the corner and makes the play.
Had 5 sacks last year. That's number 1 this year. On 3rd and long, they'll hit Cobbs, and Cobbs trying to fight. You see our line designating sort of the far end of field goal range for the Hoosiers. It's 4th down. We'll see if they send the kick team out.
Incredible to see what this Indiana offense has been able to do in the Ohio State defensive line. Not very many opportunities to get pressure, but with Ohio State finally coming up with a sack, it's amazing. Now all of a sudden it's 3rd and forever, and it changes completely the context and complex of what they're trying to do.
That sack feels like a very big play in this game right now. And I think Tom Allen's content to let the play clock wind all the way down. He's got all 3 timeouts. I think he's going to use one of them and then make his decision. So he does use his first timeout of the first half. So that gives us a chance to remind you, Sunday Night Baseball, another Red Sox-Yankees matchup, and these have been great this year. 4-game series finale, top 2 teams in the American League East. Coverage begins with baseball tonight at 7 Eastern, right here on ESPN, streaming live on the app. Chris Sale is going to be on the mound for the Red Sox.
You know, I'm a diehard Reds fan. You and I were talking about that yesterday, and It's news to me that baseball season is still going on. I kind of shut that operation down at around Memorial Day.
Our two teams have not had great 2017s.
Yeah, it's been tough. And I'm one of those guys that I'll watch every night if your team's just competing. But just not the case this year. So college football's here, though, D. So
the old Reds, yeah. Another tough year. But college football is here, and this is interesting. I think Indiana apparently is going to punt the ball with Hayden Whitehead. So instead of attempting a long field goal, now flags and whistles. I think that's movement against the Hoosiers or an illegal formation.
False start. Offense, number 17. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
At this part of the field, that penalty shouldn't hurt Indiana too much.
No.
It's been a clean game penalty-wise on both
sides.
Has. Sometimes these openers, you see all kinds of sloppy mistakes, penalties. We have not seen that. 2 against the Buckeyes, 3 against Indiana.
Especially considering the tempo that Indiana's been playing with. You know, you're going to see a lineman not set or holding call, but it's been very clean.
Indiana has run 52 plays on offense already. So now the punt and another flag thrown. This one is going to bounce and bounce into the end zone for a touchback. That did not go Indiana's way. Now we'll see what that flag is.
Ohio State may have been lined up offside. The freshman Chase Young, number 2.
That would be a big mistake, and that would not make his head coach happy.
Yeah, it looks like he's lined up offsides.
I'm sure they want to punt that again. Chase Young, by the way, they think he's going to be a stud.
Offside. Defense, number 6. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
Well, they called it on Sam Hubbard, I guess.
To me, it's right here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
that's
just
number
announced,
2.
I think they announced the wrong number.
Yeah. Hubbard's on the other side, way back, about by a yard off the line.
We apologize, Sam.
Of course. We had him, though.
We had it. All right, another try for Indiana. That one's going to go in the end zone again. So that was not particularly well done by the young punter, trying to pin Ohio State deep, a kid who has only played Australian rules football until tonight.
Go ahead. I know we have a big report here coming
we
up
do. We got to pop
halftime.
Halftime, Oklahoma State off and running with their offense. We got P.J. Fleck and his Minnesota debut.
Oh, he's rowing the boat big tonight, I'm sure.
Big. Reese Des, David will be there.
I just want to go back to say you wonder if that try for Ohio State and Indiana's inability to have an answer, even if it was a field goal, what happens here? I mean, doesn't it feel like Indiana's up by more than a point?
Yeah.
Ohio State takes this ball and goes in and scores, and they're up at halftime. You wonder what that could do to the Indiana psyche.
They've outgained Ohio State. They've outsnapped them. J.K. Dobbins, though, on the last drive for the Buckeyes, had himself a lot of success. He's already over 100 yards in his first half of his college career.
And, you know, early in the game, it was a lot of him breaking tackles and doing it on his own. The last drive, that offensive line started to really control the line of scrimmage.
Barrett back to throw. I think he kind of got hit. The tight end was open, but that forced an errant pass.
Now the pressure got to him, and I think it affected his vision. Instead of trying to keep his eyes downfield, here comes a linebacker right there as he releases the football, Chris Covington. And you can do all the drill work you want to do in the summer. It's very different when you get into that first game, and you feel that linebacker, he's got to do a good job of staying locked in downfield. He had a wide open tight end.
Tell you what, this is a big play. That stopped the clock, that incompletion. This one is also incomplete. And the clock will stop again. 1:56. Ohio State's going to have to punt. Indiana, they've got timeouts.
Not as if they need the timeouts the way they've been moving the football with it. You know, they move so quickly, but you're right. They do still have the 3 timeouts, and boy, just like that, another stop for Indiana. J.T. Barrett and the Ohio State offense off the field, and Richard Lego is going to get another shot. You know, they're thinking points.
That only took 30 seconds off the game clock. That 3 and out. Now you got this freshman punter inside the 10. Drew Chrisman gets it off. The return man was deep, to say the least. And I don't know why he was quite that deep. That costs Indiana a lot of field position. I'm not sure why Ja'Shawn Harris was so far back.
Well, you know, Lego has already thrown it 35 times tonight, and a lot of those throws have gone to his guy, Simi Cobbs, his roommate, who can win the one-on-one battle. He told us this week, my favorite guy to win those one-on-one battles is Simi Cobbs, and he's been doing that. So far tonight, already 7 receptions for 98 yards. He's actually been targeted 12 times in the first half. And you got to believe here, where they're still trying to come up with points, he's going to try to find that matchup again.
Yeah, we'll see how aggressive they are. That was a 62-yard punt with no return. That may change the decision-making for Tom Allen. Remember, Indiana does get the ball to start the second half, but they're going to throw and go after one of those matchups again. Here comes a penalty flag. I think you could see that one coming. 2 flags thrown, intended for Donovan Hale.
It looked like he grabbed the jersey. See, that's what's allowing Simi Cobbs to win on one side, is that he's not by himself. It's hard for a defense that's breaking in a lot of new secondary players.
Defense number 12, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
If it were Simi Cobbs by himself, you could kind of slide your secondary over to number 1, but you're seeing Hale also have some chances. They're clearly grabbing the jersey. That's not hand-to-hand combat. That's a hold by Ward and a good call by the officials.
That gives Indiana a little breathing room out to the 30. There's still plenty of time on the clock. Lego, a little pump fake, and now he's going down. He did not get rid of the ball quickly that time. Sam Hubbard gets the sack. Clock moves. It's 2nd and long.
One of the few times we've seen Lego hold the ball, and it's because Denzel Ward was in phase and, in fact, in front of the receiver who was trying to go downfield. It made him hold on to the ball, and that's what Ohio State needs to do to allow that defensive line to be able to get pressure.
Well, Cobbs is out there wide left with Sheffield on him, looking pretty lonely on 2nd down. Lego is not going that way, though. He's going back to the right side for the completion to Hale, who slips the tackle, and that's big because he gets out of bounds and stops the clock. And he got the first down. Well, move the chains, under a minute to go.
Richard Lego is playing a half-field game right now, whether it's to the left to Cobbs or over to the right to Hale. He's trying to look into the safety, find out if the safety is staying off. It's a one-on-one battle. He trusts his receivers to win those battles.
Pressured again, and he will throw a dangerous throw. I think that's caught. It was out of bounds, luckily for Indiana. Hale made the catch.
That's where Lego has got to learn to just throw that ball away. You don't need to be greedy. Yeah. That's what cost him last year when he had the 17 interceptions. It's really not about gaining 2 or 3 yards. It's about the clock. Just throw the ball away and live for that next down on 2nd down.
Lego in the pocket. And that pass caught short. Now there's another one where I'm not sure what good that's doing to Indiana. Clock moves. By the way, I just want to clean up. Indiana didn't burn that timeout. They let the clock expire and took the delay of game penalty, just in case there was any confusion on that. They do have all 3. 3rd down here, clock moving, 30 seconds to go first half. Lego, and he got rid of it, I guess. The ball's sitting on the turf. They throw the flag. I think that'll just be grounding. Ohio State picks it up and starts heading the other way.
Well, that was an attempt of trying to set up a screen, but the Ohio State defense, 3 or 4 guys sitting there waiting for the screen, and Tyquan Lewis is the only one that eventually went after Richard Lego. I don't know if the contact caused that errant pass or if he just threw it away.
I think that must be what Lego was arguing, that he got hit, and that forced the ball to drop with nobody in the area.
Ohio State had 3 defenders. He had nowhere to go with the ball. They completely sniffed that out.
Grounding, offense, number 21. That's a loss of down at the spot of the foul. Indiana has elected to use its first timeout of the half to avoid a 10-second runoff. Charge timeout, Indiana.
And I'm not sure why you would do that. If it were me, I'd just, okay, run the 10 seconds off. It's 4th down.
Yeah, Tyquan Lewis comes through the middle, but look at the defense off to the left. They're waiting for Majette. There's nowhere to go to throw the football, so Tyquan Lewis ends up hitting him.
I think.
Well, I think I see what Lego's saying. He was hit, and then the ball came out. That should be an incompletion. Defensive contact caused that ball to come out the way it did.
Now, in the end, it was third down. If they had just called that an incompletion, no flag, Indiana, I think ultimately basically the same result, just a little less field position. But with 26 seconds to go, you got to be careful on special teams now. Indiana had, 6 kicks blocked last year between punt game and field goal game.
Yeah, when you brought that up to Tom Allen, he was being real nice and happy, and then you brought up the special teams last year, and he just kind of hung his head and said, yeah, that was not good at all. They've worked very hard to try to clean that up.
And I think Tom's still maybe arguing about the 10-second runoff, the penalty, what the down and distance is, what the clock is. Your young punter who has never punted until tonight, he's got to make sure he at least gets it off. And the punter was late getting on the field. You do need the punter out there to punt the ball away. And they're going to use another timeout. Again, when we're done with this first half, Land Rover halftime report, the guys will talk about this game, of course, Oklahoma State, Minnesota, other games across the country as we get the first full weekend of college football 2017 kicked off tonight. We have had a good one, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who are surprised at the way this first half has gone.
Remember now, Indiana, they've been here before.
They have.
Against Ohio State, last year against Penn State. Remember they took Michigan to a couple overtimes a few years ago. I mean, this is not surprising that they're competing. It might be surprising that they're leading, but last year they led Ohio State 2 years ago here in Bloomington, so they've been here before. The difference is, can they finish the deal? And I guarantee at halftime, that's what Tom Allen's message is going to be.
That punt, a low line drive kick, sort of angled, and it is returnable, although not for much yardage. 19 seconds on the clock with the hit out of bounds. You think Ohio State just takes a knee?
I think, with one timeout and with a veteran quarterback, on the first down, you see maybe take a shot on that first down. And if you have success, obviously you go into a mode of trying to get into field goal range. And if it doesn't work out after that first attempt, then maybe you just kill the clock. But you got to, I think with down one, you got to give JT Barrett a chance here.
So we'll see. Buckeyes offense kind of perked up later in this first half. And not in a just kneel down formation, that's for sure. We'll see. Maybe give it to number 2, see if he can break one. No, Barrett's going to throw. He's going across the middle, incomplete. Yeah, Campbell streaking across the middle of the field at second down.
Yeah, just again out of sync with his receivers, not getting a whole lot of separation. In fact, he was covered pretty well that time by Jonathan Crawford.
Another good player in this Indiana secondary.
It's a veteran secondary. Most of these guys have played all starters last year. Even the year before that, a lot of these guys played football in 15.
It's not all on the quarterback, but statistically it's not been a great first half for JT Barrett. Now he's going to get hit and go down, and he did well to protect the football. That could have been a disaster. Robert McCray, you called him maybe the most physically gifted of the D linemen.
Most athletic guy, and a guy that Indiana needs not just tonight but all year to apply pressure. And boy, he came in behind Barrett with that swat trying to get the football dislodged. And boy, Tom Allen is feeling it tonight.
He's going to beat his players into the locker room if he doesn't slow down. Looking for a breakthrough tonight and all year long. That's the word of the year for Tom Allen. Maybe tonight is the night. Indiana with a 1-point lead over the second-ranked team in the country, Ohio State. 14-13 to score. We'll hear from Urban Meyer with Laura in just a moment. But first, Land Rover halftime report after these messages. You're watching college football on ESPN, presented by Destiny 2 on this beautiful night in Bloomington, Indiana. The Hoosiers trying to pull off a shocker, and they lead the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes 14-13 as we get ready to start the second half. Just moments ago, Laura Rutledge with the Indiana head coach Tom Allen.
Thanks, Coach. This program's been so close so many times. How do you break through tonight?
Well, we just talked about it in the locker room. You know, it's about finishing. You know, we got to win competitive plays in the fourth quarter. You know, we're fighting hard. We're playing our tails off. I'm so proud of them, but we've been here before. You know, there's no moral victories tonight. It's about finishing this game, and we've worked way too hard, and our kids have put us in position to have a great finish, and now it's up to us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Elio.
What was that at the end from Coach Allen?
I think he threw her a tally-ho.
It might have been. That's how perky he's feeling with the way his Hoosiers are playing tonight, and I don't blame him. He is Mr. Positivity, and he's got a bunch of kids who believe that they can do it in a score that I'm sure is surprising to just about everybody around college football. Did he come out of the end zone? No. Touchback. That was close. Williams gets the touchback. Dave Fleming, Kirk Herbstreit back with you here in Bloomington. Okay, I mean, it is a surprise. It's a one-point game, but the way that Indiana played with tempo, moved the ball against Ohio State, played on defense, everything.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see from Richard Lago is more of what you saw in the first half. He's going to try to find some one-on-one matchups, especially to Simi Cobbs and his receivers, and see if they can continue to win. I think Greg Schiano will counter. I think you're going to see more safeties over the top, protecting those corners, not giving him as many one-on-one matchups in this second half. Right now you see a too-high safety look for Ohio State.
All right, so we'll see a handoff on first down and a gain across the 25 out to the 27-yard line.
When you put two safeties up high to take away that vertical passing game, Indiana's got to have an answer, and they got to start to work to the inside.
There they go, trying to get to the corner there. That's Luke Timian, and he could not.
Tough to get wide on this Ohio State defense. That is a heck of a play by Dante Booker. Fights through the blocker and still does a good job of not losing leverage. Makes the play to the perimeter.
The guy who was hurt in the first game last year for Ohio State missed the rest of the year. Talented player. Third down. Pass rush coming, but Lago steps up. That one threw behind his target. Tipped up for an anxious moment, incomplete.
Yeah, that's something you would have seen from Lago last year. He's got a receiver coming across really fast, out of control, puts the ball behind him, ball gets tipped. He's lucky it didn't go up in the air, intercepted, and that guy, if that's intercepted, he probably walks into the end zone for a touchdown. But how about the adjustment? As we said, safeties up top, take away those one-on-one opportunities, and they did a nice job of getting off the field with the 3 and out.
Oh, what a great start for the Ohio State defense. And you heard their fans who are here in pretty big numbers, as you'd expect. A low punt that's going to bounce and take an Indiana bounce inside the 35 at about the 32-yard line. That is where Ohio State will have the ball first, although there is a penalty flag down closer to the line of scrimmage.
Holding, receiving team number 34, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So they'll add that on to the length of the punt, and Ohio State moves back farther.
We just talked about what Indiana was going to try to do in this second half, and Ohio State's adjustments to expect, and we saw that. Now with Ohio State, just the way they ended that first half, wouldn't be shocked to see them go back to their ability to run the ball. Try to get the young freshman established, J.K. Dobbins, see if they can start to win that battle up front. As we said, for a quarter and a half, Indiana holding their own, but can they hold on here in this second half? I wouldn't be surprised to see Ohio State try to pound them a little bit more as here in this third quarter.
Now the Buckeyes out rushing the Hoosiers 121 yards to 4. Barrett keeps it, and that's a positive gain on first down.
And when you start to try to run the ball, not only is that defensive line something you have to worry about because they've done a pretty good job of getting penetration. It's a pretty active group of linebackers that gets off blocks and will do their best to try to bottle up the young freshman.
2nd and 5. Barrett gives it to Dobbins this time, and Dobbins tough to bring down. He's out into the open. to midfield and finally tackled at the Indiana 49.
Wow, it's an impressive run. The physicality, hit a corner. Andre Brown blitzing from his right. You'll see him flash right there. Clean hit, boom. Bounces right off him. Low center of gravity. He's known for his acceleration, but I think he's got a great combination of power to go along with that quickness.
24 yards on that carry. You can see why they love him so much. That ball tipped up and incomplete. Well, the throw was a little high, but Campbell got his hands on it, couldn't catch it.
Yeah, Campbell's got to make that catch. I mean, the rhythm of this offense, it's like it's stuck in second or third gear, is when you start to run the football, all of a sudden those eyes of those defenders start to look into the backfield, and things like this open up. Not a perfectly thrown ball, but it's between the corner and the linebacker and the safety. Paris Campbell's got to make that catch.
I think that's a good throw. He's got to catch that one. So second down for the Buckeyes. Option style play. Barrett keeping it. And Barrett will, I think, step out just short. We'll see where they spot it. Yeah, a couple yards short of the first down.
You know, last year Ohio State got late in the year. They became Curtis Samuel and the running of J.T. Barrett. And I wonder this year how much we might see J.T. Barrett with his new offense tonight. That's just his 7th time that he's carried the football tonight for this Ohio State offense, but a big gain nonetheless.
3rd and 2. Back to pass. Barrett going down the middle. He's got a man, and it is incomplete and dropped right in the hands of Campbell. That was a touchdown.
You're a baseball guy, right? You ever call a game where the shortstop or the second baseman makes an error, and then he makes another error, then he starts to think about it too much instead of just being an athlete and making a play? Paris Campbell was thinking too much, because that is a perfectly thrown football with the safeties up, touchdown, one-on-one, and he drops it.
Wow.
Just thinking and worrying too much.
Now 4th and 2, and the Buckeyes are going for it. Barrett gave it, and no good. They did not get the first down. K.J. Hill coming across the formation, took the ball from Barrett, and he was stopped well short.
Now that's the H-back. K.J. Hill came in for Paris Campbell. I'm surprised that the freshman, who's been physical, breaking tackles, I don't know if they tried to catch them and break a tendency, catch him off guard by using Dobbins as a blocker, but Hill, first time he's put the ball in his hands as a runner tonight, and Indiana not fooled at all. They get penetration and stop him well short of the first down. Their ball.
You're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. What a moment just a few moments ago. A sure touchdown drop for Ohio State. Then the 4th down play. They don't convert. Hoosiers get the ball back. 1st and 10. Indiana, and a quick completion to the right side. Donovan Hale.
Yeah, we had a good look at Paris Campbell, and we talked about how it might be just in his mind as much as anything. He had a couple drops, and the big one was the touchdown drop. All of a sudden, Ohio State maybe goes, instead of going up 20-14, still trailing.
Big hit after the quick completion. Wow.
Well, that is just a great job of recognizing the quick throw by Damon Arnett. A lot of things have been downfield. This time he senses it, sees that the other receiver's trying to come out to make the block. Simi Cobbs gets right around him, and once he got around him, Timian just didn't have much of a chance at all. Another 3rd and long for Lego.
Ohio State's defense looks a lot different here. It's only a handful of plays, but at the start of this second half, 3rd and 8 for the Hoosiers. Lego in the pocket, will throw, and he threw another one kind of behind his target. I don't know if it would have mattered, but it's well short of a first down.
Yeah, Ohio State using some of the defense at Indiana, 3rd down, rushing 3, dropping 8, using Sam Hubbard as a spy, covering it downfield, making him throw underneath, and then rallying to the football. That's 2 straight 3-and-outs to start this second half by this defense. Greg Schiano and his staff making some great adjustments, taking away those vertical shots that Lego enjoyed in the first half.
Bosa put some pressure on, made Lego move around. That's not his strength. And that's back-to-back 3-and-outs for Indiana's offense. The punt game hasn't been great for the Hoosiers, but that will work. A fair catch right around the 15. So Ohio State gets the ball back. How about taking a look at tonight's college football rankings, brought to you by Goodyear. Now look, it's the beginning of the year, right? What do we really know? But Here's how it looks at the start of the season.
I like how you said, what do we really know? Because we really don't know anything. Alabama, we're going to find out about Alabama in both Alabama and Florida State. But everybody else, you start to go down that line. You may see a scare here or there, like we're watching right now with Indiana, giving Ohio State all they can handle. But we'll see what happens here in the second half. But there's some great games, though. Some interesting, intriguing, different matchups that you can find throughout the whole weekend, these next 5 days.
Well, Michigan, a team just outside the top 10 from the Big Ten, with a matchup against Florida. J.K. Dobbins, who has been, I think, the most impressive overall player on offense for Ohio State tonight. Another first down run.
Yeah, he opened a lot of eyes in camp, and I think the coaches were excited to give him a chance and see what he can do. Of course, Mike Weber is not at 100%, which is what opened the door, but I'm sure Mike Weber is standing over there on the sidelines watching this true freshman saying, boy, I better get this hamstring healthy in a hurry, because you're right. He's been impressive.
Sometimes you hear all that camp hype with J.T. Barrett with the keeper. He'll go out of bounds. Sometimes you hear that, and then you wait for it to materialize. This time, I think it's legit.
No, it's legit. And this kid has just a presence about himself, and he said that he already understands the offense as well as a veteran. Remember, he was in for the spring, went through winter conditioning, which helped him.
Super academic kid in high school, so he picked up the play. Not that that necessarily goes hand in hand, but picked up the playbook right away for a freshman. Broke his leg as a senior, and maybe that tamped down a little bit of the enthusiasm. He got healthy, came to campus, and he looks like a star. Takes the pitch and driven out of bounds short of the first down.
You know, it's a little thing, but Ohio State is starting. We talked about what are they going to do in this second half? Run the football. And if you're a wide receiver in this kind of offense, it's not just about running routes and catching the ball. This is a young receiver, Benjamin Victor, on the outside. He's got to make that block. And I know he's a big, tall, rangy guy, but he's got to get physical and try to push that defensive back into the boundary to give his running back a chance. That was a poor effort.
3rd and 2. Barrett, pressure coming up the middle. He'll throw short for a first down, and Campbell hangs on this time, and now he's off and running, leaping over a defender out of bounds. And I think that'll make Paris Campbell feel a little bit better.
Well, this is a great job by J.T. Barrett showing patience. He almost threw the ball, but recognized that Paris Campbell right here stumbles. The linebacker pushed him. He waits till he clears. Then he makes the throw, and you're right. How nice for Paris Campbell to be able to make a big play on 3rd down. It's cool to see J.T. Barrett go right back to him after the 2 drops on the last drive.
Yeah, big-time play, and that's not good news for Indiana. Hopefully Rashard Fant is okay. He's one of their best defensive players on the turf for the Hoosiers. Ohio State moving the ball. We'll be back right after this.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football, brought to you by Pizza Hut. Turn every dollar you spend on pizza into unlimited points for free pizza with Pizza Hut's Hut Rewards program. Sign up today for double points, because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Now, I know you'll be shocked to learn those are non-scholarship athletes. This is a legitimate sport, though, a club sport at Indiana. Log rolling. First competition, end of September. They're getting ready.
It's good technique there.
That was pretty impressive.
All
those
about
last
the balance.
2.
Yeah.
That ain't easy. J.T. Barrett and Ohio State on the move. Playing better here in the second half, but trying to get some points to show for it. J.K. Dobbins, who's having a big debut for Ohio State on first down, gain of 4.
Yeah, I would love to see if we could go back, and probably somebody will do it later tonight or tomorrow, how many yards he has after contact. I mean, he is at least half, if not more, of his yards after contact, because he's a lot of times fighting for yards in the pit there, and he breaks free, whether it's a safety or a corner or a linebacker that has him. You better bring your shoulders and wrap up on this young guy.
Barrett back to throw with time. Great pocket toward the end zone. Incomplete. Just not quite enough closing speed for the tight end to catch up to that one. Well, Tom Allen, this is his debut as the full-time head coach for Indiana. Remember, he was the defensive coordinator for the guy in the red toward the middle with the headset, Kevin Wilson, who is now the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. He resigned in December, and there was some controversy around that. 2 guys who know each other very, very well going head-to-head here on opening night. 3rd and 6. Barrett's going to keep it, and Barrett will get the first down and more. Tackled at about the 21-yard line.
Well, there was nobody in the middle of this defense to stop him from running up the middle. They had the defensive line, but the linebackers were out wide, I think expecting maybe a quick throw, and J.T. Barrett follows the freshman who picks up a nice block on Chris Covington and gives him a chance for more yards.
Yeah, you were talking about the blocking a minute ago that wasn't executed. That time the block was a big part of that first down play. There's a catch for Austin Mack.
Remember when Zeke Elliott played at Ohio State, and you'd watch him and you'd talk to Tom Herman or Urban Meyer about him, and they would brag about him, what he does, how physical he was without the football, and what a great blocker he was. And just watching this J.K. Dobbins tonight, not only is he running the football, when he's asked to block, he's putting people down.
5'10", 208 pounds, the freshman from LaGrange, Texas. And so far, the adjustments that the Ohio State coaches have made on both sides of the ball have looked effective. Barrett takes a hit, incomplete. Man, he got drilled. That's Robert McCray again.
He didn't give up on the play. He was able to fight, get around, and eventually put the pressure on him. This gives you a feel with J.T. Barrett. He's looking to his right, working through his progressions, tries to work all the way back to his left to give to Mack, but that takes a while to start all the way on your right, work through the middle of the field, and then by the time he got to the sophomore Mack, that's where he saw the pressure that time by McCray.
Big 3rd down. Ohio State in field goal range, but hoping for more. They've only punched it in one time. They will hand it off to Dobbins, and Dobbins trying to pick his way ahead. Man, he is strong for a true freshman, but he's stopped about a yard short.
Urban Meyer not hesitating. They want tempo, 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 trying to hurry up and go.
They're going for it. Barrett will give it to Dobbins. First down.
Pretty good.
You spotted that right away.
Yeah.
Get to the line and just give the ball to number 2.
That's one of those things you rehearse over and over and over. Situations, if you get to that 3rd down and short, you come up a half yard or a yard short, instantly get to the line and get ready to get lined up and have that play called. It almost doesn't even have to come from the sideline. It's just automatic.
154 yards. This has a chance to be a record-setting night for the freshman, who will spin away from the first tackler but couldn't get away entirely. Loses a yard. Nate Hoff made the play.
Yeah, he's up to 22 carries now on the night. 153 yards, 7 yards a carry.
Well, Archie Griffin has the record most rushing yards by any freshman in a game, and that's within range. To the end zone, incomplete, but a penalty flag thrown. Trying to hit Austin Mack. Comes up limping a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to get pass interference on Riggins.
Pass interference. Defense number 28. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line with an automatic first down.
You know, initially he uses his hands. He's in pretty good position. He's in phase, but you can see Mack looking back for the ball. See the left arm? Left arm got up underneath him. That's a hold that time. And an official right on top of it.
Well, Dobbins is in the game, but he's wide right. So J.T. Barrett alone in the backfield. Barrett's going to keep it. Barrett, end zone, touchdown. And Ohio State, for the first time since the early minutes of this game, has gone ahead.
And they go to the bubble here. Big vacancy in the Indiana left side of the Ohio State right here. They're going to just attack this bubble right here. And big tight end is able to come back, pick up the defensive end. And you're just asking Barrett to be able to beat that safety. It's had a different feel in the second half.
Much different.
Yeah, Ohio State's defense has kind of put the clamp down on Lego so far, and Ohio State offense seems to have kind of found it an identity here in this second half.
And not going for 2. They're going to take the 1. Extra point up and good. Now Indiana down 6 with 6:57 to go here in quarter number 3.
J.T. Barrett finishes off this drive, but 13 plays, 85 yards, nice balance, mixing the run and the throw, and really starting to take control of the line of scrimmage.
Well, we told you tonight, not just our regular opening night telecast, but a mega cast. We figure why not after the Ohio State touchdown check-in with the so-called Homer telecast alongside Bobby Carpenter, Joe Tessitore.
Hey, Dan, what happened to the juice factory here? They were serving up so much juice in this place. All of a sudden, the faucet is turned off. What's going on, my man?
I told you, Tess, Indiana fans in the second half are waiting to die. They need to make a big play. I've been saying it during this whole broadcast. Indiana fans are like, oh, man, good things are happening.
Well, how about this for an opportunity? Devontae Williams.
All right.
With the kick return for the Hoosiers.
Hey,
Dan, they're back. They're back.
You can talk, Adnan, about coaching this, coaching that, but sometimes players just have to go make plays, period. And Indiana players haven't made plays. The fans have reacted to the non-action from the IU side in the second half. There's a play now. You got to capitalize.
And this feels like a critical juncture of the game for Indiana, right? Ohio State's been hanging around, had some mistakes, had some drops. Now they've taken the lead. Now the Hoosiers have to respond.
You want critical guys. Turn around. Marlon, turn around. This is what's been critical all night long right here. Look at the matchup of Hale and Warren, the size differential.
The matchup has been rough on the outside.
Just a taste of our Homers broadcast on both sides, part of our mega cast production here tonight. Now, look, my friend Dan Dockich, great college basketball broadcaster, a Hoosier through and through. I think your job's safe for me. I think you're good.
He's fired up. He knows this Indiana crowd better than anybody. But the one thing he didn't talk about is the reason Ohio State's defense has been able to make plays here in the second half.
Wow. That was a dangerous play. Lego, and I don't think they've blown the play dead. They've let it go. He thought it was an incompletion. Instead, rumbling toward the end zone and into the end zone. Touchdown. Robert Landers, BB, was looking like a cannonball on his way to the goal line.
Yeah, Dave, I think they're going to take another look at this. Obviously, linebacker that time, Chris Worley, had him wrapped up, but I thought he was attempting to throw the football.
I thought so.
I was surprised that they didn't blow the whistle and call that an incompletion. The ball looked like it came out and went forward when it came out of his hands.
Well, initially I thought for sure it was, but then there was no whistle. The play was not blown dead.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is they must have thought it was knocked out of his hands before he threw it. But it looked like he threw it. Nah, I don't know.
I think that's a throw.
I think it's a throw. Came off of his fingers. He didn't get much of his arm back to throw it, but you could see a little bit of a follow-through. Dave Kataya, who's the expert up here to help us out. Dave, what do you think?
The key is he has to have control of the ball with any forward motion of the arm. The key is, does he have control? To me, it looks like he probably does have control, and they are reviewing this. So what they're looking for.
It's a good look here.
Here, this is a really good look.
I think he had control.
To me, that looks, his arm's going forward. He looks like he has control. The key is that ball has to be moving before that ball starts forward in order for it to be a fumble.
But the ball obviously goes forward out of his hand, and if it's not knocked out of his hand,
it's
a forward pass.
To me, that looks like he's got control and he's pushing the ball forward.
Me too.
That's what I thought.
Now, can I make another point, Dave?
Absolutely.
I do like the fact that the officials didn't blow the play dead. Just let it go. You can look at it. I mean, if you blow the play dead, you interrupt any chance Ohio State has to make a big play.
Dave, walk us through all this. Fans get confused. What's going on? There's so many different rules and different leagues, and what are they doing right now?
Okay, what they're doing, they're going to go over and look at this. Now, as you mentioned, Dave, they're going to let this play go if it's close because you don't want to take replay out of the game. Okay, now let's watch this play. The key is, does he have control of the ball when that arm starts forward? And as I said, based on that other replay, it looked like he did. Okay? So the officials are going to go right now. What's happening is replay is talking to the referee. The referee's describing what he saw in the field.
Does he make a call, or is it coming strictly from upstairs? Why does he have a monitor? What's he doing?
The only reason in college football he has a monitor is to see what's going on. The final call is made by replay upstairs. This just allows him to see it and give a description over the air of what he sees. But upstairs is where the call comes from.
Is he telling them what he thought we saw as a group down here, or is he just going by the replay? Is he just going back and forth and kind of viewing the replay with the guys upstairs?
He needs to tell them when he walks over there what he sees. So here we go.
After review, that was an incomplete pass. It's going to be 3rd down and 9 from the 39-yard line. Please reset the game clock for 6:28.
We're 3 for 3 on that one.
Absolutely.
We first guessed that one, too, by the way. We first guessed that.
From an officiating standpoint, if I was that referee, I'd do exactly the same thing, because if I have doubt, I am not going to cause that to be a fumble when it is a fumble. Wait.
And that's what I think. I think they did a good job. Let it go and then look at it.
Let's remember now, incompletion, but it's another 3rd down. Indiana doesn't have a first down here in this second half.
It wasn't much of a pass, but it was an important pass for Indiana. Points come off the board. It's a 6-point game. Cobbs, they're going toward Cobbs, complete, first down. Yeah. You saw it.
Yeah, well, it's the first time they've had a matchup without a safety over the top to take Cobbs away. Remember, in the first half, Cobbs was a matchup problem for Ohio State's defensive backs. The corners, because of his size, couldn't deal with him. Ohio State's adjustments has been to put safeties over the top to try to help them out.
That one tipped and incomplete. They were going back toward Cobbs, but a hand on the football, 2nd and 10.
And Jalen Holmes with his size, 6'5", 270, when you can't get after the quarterback and apply pressure, best thing you can do is try to time it up, get your hand up, and knock it down.
2nd down, Indiana in Ohio State territory. Wide open, Cobbs across the middle. And he's knocking defenders backwards down to the 25 and inside the 25. He is having a huge night.
So Ohio State's trying to take away the edge play that's out of the perimeter. So the answer is now they get Cobbs into the middle that's been vacated by the linebackers.
Quick tempo and another completion to Cobbs. Why not?
Yeah, well, it's back and forth. It's the outside play if it's one-on-one, and then if they use a safety over the top, then they use a move to the inside. Now they're going trips to the outside.
And an Ohio State player is down. Cobbs has 10 catches for 140 yards. It's still the 3rd quarter. Damon Arnett on the turf. Looked like he's cramping.
Well, this is the booing right now is because Arnett was walking back into position to be able to make a play and then just kind of went down. And I think that's why the crowd is reacting, wondering if he's actually hurt or is he trying to slow down the tempo of the Indiana offense, where all of a sudden they've watched him here at the bottom. All of a sudden he's walking and then he looks over and just kind of takes a seat.
I like to give these kids benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
That one's a stretch.
Yeah.
All right, so they're trying to get Damon Arnett loose. Hope it's not too tight, Damon. By the way, ESPN app, a fan's best friend this time of year. You got to have it. Stream live games, shows, highlights, podcasts. Get access to scores, news from anywhere. Download the ESPN app now. And all that stuff is great, but Saturday, that's when you need the app. All the games going on at the same time. You flip back and forth. You monitor.
You cannot beat. I've been saying this for 4 years because a lot of times game day and the game I'm calling, I'm traveling like you, and you got to have that app because you can watch every game that's on the ESPN station. You can pick up.
And the MegaCast tonight, we got all the options on the app, on the Homer's broadcast, Coach's Film Room, Command Center, the SkyCam channel, all that available on the ESPN app.
He's down here again, but here's that safety trying to take him away.
2nd and 4. Indiana trying to answer. Lego. That one's caught. And it's the running back, Mike Majette. What a catch. He looked like a wide receiver.
And that time they used Cobbs as a decoy to open up the sideline to go back to the running back, sneaking out of the backfield. Well-designed play that time by Mike DeBoard.
Great pass, 1st and goal. Majette fighting down to about the 2.5.
That is tough sledding. Not only that defensive line, but Chris Worley in the middle attacking downhill. Probably going to find Cobbs in a one-on-one matchup. That's what they've been doing all night. He's got him again one-on-one against Sheffield.
Jump ball coming. We'll see. Lego instead toward the tight end. Touchdown! His 2nd of the night, Ian Thomas. Indiana ties the game with the extra point coming. Hoosiers have found themselves a player. How big was that replay overturned? The drive continued, and Indiana ends up in the end zone. Nine plays, 62 yards, extra point, good.
They use a receiver on it right here, Hale. He's going to take not only the corner, but he's going to affect Baker, who's matched up right here. Watch this little rub route, or you would call kind of a pick, to try to get in the way of Baker. That frees up Thomas to get to the corner. And again, a nicely thrown football by Richard Lego. See, the receiver does a good job of disguising it. Baker fights through to get to him, but he was in the way enough. And Hale, you can see him in the background how excited he was. You know, we've seen that in college football. There have been controversial calls down in that area where the receiver doesn't do a good job of disguising that he's running for a route. Hale did a very good job of making the pick, but not looking like he was trying to create a pick, and that's why the official doesn't make the call. He looked like he was running a route.
Yeah, I think a better effort even than the very famous play that essentially ended the national championship last year. Well, what a sequence that was. It felt like this game was getting away from the underdog.
Well, you hear Dockich down there on the homer call talking about this crowd's waiting for the other foot to drop. They're waiting for something bad to happen. That's been the Indiana way. And that was a heck of an answer now after Ohio State started to take control this second half. The Hoosiers go back up 21-20.
They leaned heavily on their star wideout, Simi Cobbs, who's having a huge night against Ohio State. Kick return here for Campbell to the 20 and trying to get outside to the 26-yard line. What a beautiful night here in Bloomington, Indiana. Final minutes of the third quarter, 1-point lead for the Hoosiers. Our aerial coverage from up above provided by Goodyear, committed to honoring blimp-worthy athletes who demonstrate hard work on and off the field. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. What a scene. There is a player down on the kick coverage on the Indiana side. I don't know if that's Marcelino Ball. It may not be. So they're looking at whoever it is down on the turf. While we have a moment, why don't we send it down to Laura?
Dave, it's been interesting watching Richard Lego on the Indiana sideline. Throughout this game, no matter what's been happening, he's been promising his guys, we are going to win this game. He keeps saying it. He keeps saying it won't just be me, it'll be all of us. Saying it to every offensive lineman, saying it to the running backs, saying it to the receivers. And after Ohio State had scored to make this closer again, he went down and told them once more, we're going to win this game. They continue to listen to him, and you can tell that he provides certainly a lot of maturity and encouragement.
You know, I think the experience that he gained last year coming over from junior college, Laura, has a lot to do with that maturity. There were some ups with 19 touchdowns and a lot of downs with 17 picks. He took ownership of that, and he really worked hard to get to know these players better. They became some of his best friends. And I think it was a different Richard Lego when he got this new offense with Mike DeBoer. He's comfortable with the offense, the reads, but I think more than that, he's comfortable with who he is. The other thing that's really helped is Nick Sheridan. You can just see him there at the top. He was a former Michigan quarterback. His dad's been in coaching for a long time. He's with the Detroit Lions. And when you talk to Tom Allen, he points out very quickly that Nick Sheridan is the one voice in the ear of Richard Lego. So if he makes a mistake or he has a good play, he's not going to hear from Mike DeBoer. The guy who's going to communicate with him is Nick Sheridan, and he's got to be happy with the way he has started tonight with 345 yards.
We got 5 minutes almost to go in the third quarter. This is against Ohio State.
Yeah,
pretty impressive.
Very. You and I were talking at halftime. I said, everybody's going to look at these numbers and think, what's wrong with Ohio State playing Indiana, giving up all these? I don't think Ohio State will play, from a passing standpoint, a better group as far as a quarterback and a group of receivers than who they face tonight with Lego and this group of receivers, including Oklahoma.
You to repeat that.
They will not play a better group the rest of the year from a quarterback, kind of a pro-style ability to throw the football, and a group of wide receivers top to bottom. That we'll see at the end of the year, November and December, if I'm right or wrong. But I don't think they'll face a better combo of quarterback wide receiver play than what they're facing August 31st tonight here in Bloomington against Indiana.
Good news, it was number 43, Damian Willis, who was down, and he gets up and walks off the field by himself. 4:50 to go, third quarter. Indiana back in front, 21-20. Number 2 on the road to start the year. Conference game really being tested. Campbell across the middle. Paris Campbell got the big time speed. There he goes. Campbell off to the races. 10. Touchdown. Well, I think that makes up for the drop. 74 yards and 1 step, he was gone.
Well, it gives you an idea of what he can do when he catches the football, especially he's taken over that Curtis Samuel role, that H-back that's been famous in Urban Meyer's offense going back to Utah. Paris Warren, of course, at Florida with Percy Harvin, Curtis Samuel at Ohio State. And that gives you an idea why Urban Meyer is so excited about what Paris Campbell can do with the ball. A little crossing route, little mesh route. It looks like, hey, they're going to be able to tackle it for 8 or 10 yards, and instead he's able to take it, and nobody's able to catch up with him. You've got to wonder where the Indiana defense was. And I talked earlier about the blocking by the wide receivers, and Benjamin Victor did not do a good job. Watch to the top left the effort by Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin does a nice job of picking up a block on Fant that actually opens it up. So instead of a nice 30-yard gain, he's able to take it to the house. That's how important perimeter blocking from the wide receivers is.
That and the speed of Paris Campbell, the key to the whole play. And J.T. Barrett's got the touchdown pass. We have had 3 different lead changes in the third quarter alone. 4 receptions, 126 yards, and the smile is back on the face of Paris Campbell, who was not smiling after he dropped what was a sure touchdown.
You know what, though, man? You've got to be very proud of any kind of player that faces some kind of adversity and doesn't sulk, doesn't hang his head, deals with it. J.T. Barrett came over to him and talked to him after he dropped the potential touchdown catch, and he didn't go away. In fact, J.T. Barrett believed him in enough to go right back to him the next series, and all of a sudden he's had a heck of a night.
I think that might have been the key. They got him the ball the next time they had it right away again. Good kick coverage from the Buckeyes as Indiana gets the ball back.
Been a heck of a night for Paris Campbell. This was earlier, sure touchdown. Just overthinking it. See, J.T. Barrett comes over and says, hey man, stay in this game. We need you. We're going to make a big play. Sure enough, they went right back to him, what Dave indicated, showing the confidence that they had in him. And this is just flat out speed. Ability to, you get into the open field, you can outrun the safety, outrun linebackers, and Paris Campbell gives you an idea of what he'll be able to do in this offense.
1 block, gone.
Gone. How does Richard Lego and the Hoosiers respond to that?
They've had pretty good responses all night. Pressure and incomplete.
Oh, there's a low snap. Ohio State not showing a lot of pressure tonight because they've been able to get pressure with their 4. This time they brought the linebackers and they got to him. Watch the snap. That right there gets him a little bit out of rhythm. Then he's got to deal with Draymond Jones. And Ohio State front gets to him again.
2nd and 10. Pressure. Lego. Incomplete. And that was Ohio State breaking up their own interception. That should have been picked.
Indiana trying to cut the defensive lineman from Ohio State. Watch the athletic ability and how they get over top of these cuts. Watch off to the right here. They just hurdle them, jump over top of them. Sam Hubbard gets in there, and a very, very critical mistake potentially there by Richard Lego, just throwing that ball over to the right sideline.
He got away with one
sure
big
did.
time.
It's the 2nd time tonight.
Damon Arnett, by the way, I think he's cramping up again. Baker, the linebacker, Ward, the defensive back, and they just ran into each other.
I think they were fighting over it. Jerome Baker, after last year making so many big plays on interceptions, remember the Oklahoma and the Michigan game, he's thinking, I'm gonna get another one here to start the 2017 season.
He took the one against Oklahoma to the end zone, didn't he?
And Michigan too.
And he was thinking end zone this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants that one back. Well, we've been talking about the great slate of games on Saturday, on Monday, Sunday night. a really important game, I think, on both sides. Two top 25 teams, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Capital One Sunday night kickoff. Sunday, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. That game was a huge success last year. That was the Texas-Notre Dame game last year, wasn't it? The Sunday night game?
Yeah, it was. It was. It was a great game.
Well, Tom Allen and Indiana, they have fought so hard in this one, but a couple mistakes that they got away with here in this third quarter. The reviewed throw that got overturned, that didn't go as a fumble recovery touchdown, and then that one.
He's got trips off to the left. He's got Cobbs at the bottom, but don't forget at the top, Donovan Hale, one-on-one with Denzel Ward.
3rd and 10, and they're handed the ball off, trying to take Ohio State by surprise, and they were not. How about Jerome Baker after dropping the interception right there to make the play on 3rd down?
And Jerome Baker expected to have a big year with Raekwon McMillan moving on to the NFL. Chris Worley has moved to the middle where Raekwon used to play, and Baker, such a great player a year ago, now becomes a leader along with 35 Worley in the middle. Does make a nice play and a physical tackle there on 3rd down. Real surprise there by the call. As aggressive as Indiana has been tonight, that was not very aggressive there on 3rd down.
So a low line drive punt. And going back to take it on a bounce and then getting to the corner, KJ Hill, but not all the way to the corner. Out of bounds. Shoved into that netting. No penalty flag thrown. Ohio State gets the ball back. We've seen the leadership, I think, of J.T. Barrett over the course of this game, and he talked to us before tonight about where that came from.
Hard work and understanding that if you want things in life, you got to work for them. Being respectful, having respect for people, and if you carry yourself in that way, then ultimately it's going to come back to you.
And the answer, Mom and Dad.
Well, he's been doing it for really since 14, where he finished 5th in the Heisman. And if you really get to know him and watch how he carries himself, there's a reason he's the only 3-time captain in the history of Ohio State football. There have been some pretty good players that have come through Columbus.
There have been.
Yeah.
And I'll say it again, they've been playing football for 128 years, and he's the first 3-time captain. Dobbins, who looks like he may be the next star in the backfield for Ohio State based on his debut tonight.
I think with every carry, he impresses people more and more with his shake and the combination to go with the power. He runs through tackles.
Mike Weber better get healthy quick. Dobbins, gang tackled there, gain of 2.
Well, Weber has that hamstring that bothered him at the beginning of camp and tweaked it about 10 days ago. So just as a precaution, they've decided to keep him out, start the true freshman. Only the second true freshman running back to make his first game of his career, the other Maurice Claret.
Claret's got the freshman debut record rushing yards at Ohio State. The overall record, Archie Griffin with the 200-plus yard game when he was a freshman. That throw on 3rd down complete, and it's a 1st down. Johnny Dixon with the catch. 1st down Buckeyes.
He's a young man that's fought through a lot of adversity, came in highly touted for Ohio State about 4 years ago, and was expected to have an immediate impact for Urban Meyer. He's just been dealing with tendonitis and a knee issue and hasn't played much at all. They're expecting he's healthy, and with a group that needs to find a receiver that can make some plays happen, Johnny Dixon could be that guy.
He was so frustrated by those injuries, he thought about quitting. Hung in there, and now he's a starter. Dobbins with the carry, 2nd down and 7 coming up.
I just keep going back to our visit yesterday with Tom Allen and him saying that one word. He read the book and he talked about how it was about one word. His one word for this season is breakthrough. And breakthrough meaning they've been close, but can we have that breakthrough moment?
Looking for it tonight, wide open across the middle, and there's Dixon again. Dixon to the 20. Dixon, touchdown. 59 yards.
A lot of crossing routes and a lot of confusion by Indiana. Watch the receivers crossing. Nice job of just settling in that hole right there by Dixon. J.T. Barrett, great patience And that's what we were just talking about with Johnny Dixon. There's a different gear when he's able to get his hands on the football. He looks around and he realizes right away he's got a chance to take it to the house, and he does. And a much better block by Benjamin Victor that time to help spring him loose. It's like
another quick strike touchdown for Ohio State. The Buckeyes have started to take control of this game in the final 2 minutes of the third quarter, and they are going for 2. Barrett with Dobbins in the backfield to his left. 2-point try. Barrett keeps it. Add on 2 more. That was easy.
I think everybody thought the big fella, the young freshman, had the ball. He just walks to the corner to put Ohio State up by 14. Pretty cool to see. There's his wide receiver coach, Zach Smith. You know, when you see an entire team go to a guy, trainers, coaches, players, everybody is so proud of, as you said, a guy that was close to maybe just shutting it down and giving up. Instead, he fought through it. And now to be able to come back tonight and have a big-time grand opening to the 2017 season with a big play there.
And how about the moment from earlier this week when they made the call to his mom to tell Johnny? I think we have it. Do we have that? Johnny Dixon and his mom.
He did really well. He stayed healthy. He really was a grinder. He went really hard, and he had like, if I graded his camp, I'd give it an A. Like that's awesome. He exceeded expectations. So really, the point of calling is I wanted to let you know that next Thursday, your boy's getting his first start as a Buckeye.
Are you serious?
Yep.
That's awesome. Cool. Very, very cool. I know his mom's watching, and she is fired up after that play by her son.
That's his first career touchdown after all of the struggles to get healthy and get on the field. I got to think he's thinking it was all worth it now. More good kick coverage. Man, Indiana's special teams, they have had nowhere to go against Ohio State tonight.
Ohio State has taken control of this football game in the third quarter. 3 touchdowns, 22 points, up now by 14. And for a team that isn't playing a MAC team at home to open the season, they're playing Indiana, who's got a shot to win 7 or 8 games on the road in this environment, taking some shots early down, showing a lot of resiliency. Now, there's still a whole quarter to go, but they've kind of righted the ship here so far.
I'm with you. When you look at the names, you think maybe lopsided. This was no pushover game, and it still isn't. We still got a ways to go.
Oh, yeah.
Luke Timian, who has had a nice night at wide receiver.
It's one thing to get back and take control of a game. It's another thing with a whole quarter to go to finish it. Don't sleep on Richard Lago and these receivers.
Lago pressured, incomplete.
And for Richard Lago, he's got to avoid panic setting in on him. We have, for the most part, seen him very comfortable getting back, getting the ball out, getting back, getting the ball out. Second half, it's been a bit of a different story, as you see from the numbers, but that last pass attempt, he looked uncomfortable in that pocket.
He took that hit on the near interception, nowhere close. Majette, they gave it to him on 3rd and short, and he was stuffed.
Talked about how Chris Worley has had to make the move to that middle spot to take over for Raekwon McMillan. Here he is right here, 3rd and short. If they show run, he's going to shoot this gap, and this is a great job. He's still kind of feeling his way through. Nobody gets to the second level to take him out, and that is a great job of recognizing and then accelerating through the ball carrier on 3rd and short.
That's how you play middle linebacker.
No doubt.
Another stop by the Ohio State defense. They've had 4 different 3-and-outs they've forced in this quarter alone. The punt, fair catch at the 39. Ohio State's offense will come back on the field. Well, all of us, all week long, have been thinking about those folks down at Houston, the thousands and really millions affected by Hurricane Harvey, and those folks urgently still need all of our support. You can help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter and lots of necessities for all those families. Donate today by going to redcross.org/ESPN, or you can call 1-855-999-GIVE. And I know that so many people have pitched in and given so much support. Way, way more is needed. They are a long way from being back to normal down in Houston, and a great part of the country, a great part of the college football world. We are thinking about all those people, that's for sure. Now Dobbins, who is in the game, Laura told us from the sideline he's dealing with some cramping issues. That didn't look like it there. Pretty nice run on first down.
Yeah, welcome to college football as a true freshman. His first start, 26 carries and 169 yards. I don't blame him for cramping down there.
Yeah, they are working him. Now that is going to be the final play of the third quarter. Well, the third quarter that was really dominated by Ohio State. The Buckeyes, number 2 ranked team in the country, and looking like it here since halftime. Urban Meyer's got to be pleased with the way this game has changed. The defense, we saw that early in the quarter. JT Barrett on the offense with the short yardage plays and the big plays getting it going. You're watching college football on ESPN, presented by Destiny 2.
All ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
Well, a pretty dominant quarter for the number 2 ranked Buckeyes of Ohio State, and they have taken control of this game. Now we still have 15 minutes to play, though, and it's still very much a game, 35-21. Buckeyes, though, have the ball, and their true freshman running back got the start tonight in place of Mike Weber, who's out with a hamstring problem. Dobbins has been one of the big stars, and he gets the first carry of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and they're not looking to sit him down. You know, if they did, Antonio Williams we've seen a little bit tonight, but right now Dobbins is saying, don't take me out.
It gives you a little insight into how they feel about this guy and his role going forward. He is going to get the ball. First down, Ohio State, play fake, and they'll just swing it out to Campbell out in open space. That seems like a pretty good plan usually. 5-yard gain.
You know, you're sitting at home, you're watching Ohio State, and you see them struggle early, down at halftime, 14-13. All the talk about it, Kevin Wilson and Ryan Day, new offense, and yet there it is again, stuck in second or third gear, and you're thinking, what's wrong, what's going on? And interesting, the adjustments they made at halftime, came out, scored 3 touchdowns, took control of this game, and it gives you an indication of how quickly this offense can strike with the playmakers that they have.
Dobbins on the pitch play, out of bounds just short. And I think you're right, the adjustments at halftime have been phenomenal.
And you see Ryan Day closest to us, Kevin Wilson next to him, kind of co-coordinators. And sometimes there's a lot of pressure on you, and everybody's saying, okay, fix everything that's wrong. And it's like, oh, we better score every possession. And I don't know if the players, JT Barrett and the coaches felt that, but I don't know, it just feels like they've settled down in this second half. It has a totally different feel from Barrett and the way they're stretching horizontally and vertically.
Well, they'll empty the backfield on 3rd and 1. Barrett, you can kind of see that coming, strong enough to try to get there, but he is going to be stopped short. They blew the whistle.
Anytime you stop an offense when you're down by 14 and you stop them on 3rd and short, gives you an idea of is Indiana quit or are they still out there battling, and pretty good idea that they're still out there battling. Ball leading the way along with that defensive front.
Everybody who played Indiana's defense under Tom Allen last year said, well, one thing they have talent, but they also play hard.
Yeah. I think that's a big reason he got the head job when Kevin Wilson was let go, was that I think the athletic director and the administrators wanted the culture that he created on defense to permeate not only on defense but over the entire roster, all over the team.
Ohio State 4th and short decides to punt, and they'll pin Indiana's offense inside the 10. Well, the matchup that's going to close out our great Labor Day weekend of college football, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, the Chick-fil-A kickoff game Monday right here on ESPN at 8 Eastern. 25th ranked Volunteers against that Paul Johnson offense of Georgia Tech, and just a sampling of what to watch. Starting tomorrow, Wisconsin gets underway at home against Utah State, Michigan, Florida, Florida State, Alabama, and on it goes.
Some great games, exciting, and I think I love to see the SEC and the Big Ten, and anytime they go head-to-head, it's always a lot of fun.
I'm excited to see LSU. We've talked about the new coordinators in this game. LSU's got a new offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, who I think very highly of.
What a year he enjoyed last year at Pitt, and now he's going to take that scheme down to Baton Rouge with a lot of athletic ability. And I wouldn't sleep on BYU. I think they didn't look great last week, but sometimes that can lull their next opponent to sleep.
Yeah, they do have the advantage. They have played a game. That is an advantage. That's some tough after the catch running by the running back, Cole Guest, for a first down. Indiana managed to get J.T. Barrett and the offense off the field. Now their offense has to get it going again, and with plays like that, it's going to be tough. Ball came out. The hit and the fumble, and I think the Buckeyes have it.
Yeah, that ball came out. Nobody from Indiana, there wasn't a whistle. Nobody from Indiana went for the football. But what an effort that time by Jay Sean Carnell, who ends up getting to Lego. Knocks the ball loose.
They still have not made a call. To me, that ball was definitely out, wasn't it? Yes.
Oh, yeah. It looks like Jonathan Cooper stepped on it.
So Cornell forced the fumble. Cooper recovered the fumble.
This is the next wave of defensive linemen. The ball clearly out. Cornell does a nice job, but there's Jonathan Cooper, a freshman out of Gahanna, Ohio, who jumps on top of the ball.
I mean, you're not talking about the stars, all the names we know. This is the second wave of guys.
Really the third, because they're too deep all across the board. Bosa and Lewis and Sprinkle and Landers and Draymond Jones and Sam Hubbard and Jalen Holmes. Now you're going to that third group, and pretty good effort there. These guys say, we don't get a chance very often. I'm going to go out there and make a play.
Well, that's a huge turnover. Ohio State now has a chance to really open this game up. 5th sack for the Buckeyes defense. Barrett, touchdown. And that's Victor with the catch.
Well, that looked like some of the plays that Indiana had against the Ohio State defense. And this time it's the very, very tall and athletic Benjamin Victor at 6'4", 195 pounds. And the one thing that J.T. Barrett wants to do inside that 10-yard line with Victor is put it up in the air and let him use that frame to go up and make a play.
Well, you figure that play has a chance to be pretty effective over the course of this year for the Buckeyes. Ohio State will kick the extra point, and they have wrestled control of this game from Indiana. 42-21 Ohio State.
Kevin Wilson says, quick turnover. What are we going to do? Deep in Indiana territory, we're going to put the ball up in the air in the first play and let Victor score a touchdown.
Our beautiful aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, committed to honoring blimp-worthy athletes who demonstrate hard work on and off the field. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. And yeah, you can notice that a few of the Indiana faithful have headed for the exits.
Yeah, there are not many left. There are a lot of Ohio State fans still here.
Indiana led this game at halftime, 14-13. It really controlled a lot of the first half. Now, Ohio State has dominated in the second half, offense, defense, and special teams. Well, time for We've Got You Covered, brought to you by Jiffy Lube, and we're focusing on the quarterback, the captain.
Yeah, J.T. Barrett faced some adversity tonight and yet kept his composure. Things did not look good. They were frustrated. He did a good job of trying to talk to the guys on the sideline, worked with his new coordinators, and then he got very patient within the passing game and got the ball to Paris Campbell. We saw this big play to Johnny Dixon. This one, Ohio State really took control. And then the last one, the fade, just puts it up in the air where 6'4" Benjamin Victor can make a play on it. But we could talk a lot about J.T. Barrett, but I said at the beginning of the second half, I expect him to try to take control of the line of scrimmage and run Dobbins. That opens up the passing game for Ohio State.
It did, big time. Cobbs did not get the first down, or did he? No. Stopped short. The effort from these defensive backs, and these are tough covers. Indiana's got very good wide receivers. The effort's been good. And I think the We've Got You Covered thing does cover this guy because he did not panic. I mean, they were making mistakes. Things were out of sort.
Yeah. See, you see the 33 yards rushing in the second half. It's not a ton, but I thought they went back and they were a little bit more effective with quarterback run in the second half, which, again, is a piece of the puzzle for Urban Meyer's offense. It's running a guy like Dobbins, throwing the ball downfield, running J.T. Barrett. All that they kind of tie it all together. And I thought in the first half they weren't able to get on track, and part of that was he wasn't much of a factor running the football.
Well, third down and very short here. Indiana's just not been able to run the ball at all, so they'll throw it to the tight end, Ian Thomas, who in some ways has been the breakout star of the night for the Hoosiers, all the returning talent, but Thomas is another weapon for them.
Yeah, I think as this year goes on, if you're a defensive coordinator in the Big Ten, you better be very aware of number 80, because it's going to be easy to get caught up in what Cobbs can do, and if Westbrook gets healthy and Donovan Hale, all those great receivers, but boy, he is tough in the middle, and he keeps those linebackers and safeties honest.
He had 3 catches all of last year. He's got 5 tonight with 2 touchdowns. Lego on the move, back across the middle, kind of a dangerous throw, but he got it there with that arm strength, close to a first down. And he did get the first down.
I think how Indiana finishes here, because it's the first game and because they had so much hope for pulling off an upset, and the fact that they were up, and they've been in that position before, and this year it's going to be different. It's going to be our breakthrough moment. You know, we've been close in the past, but this time we're gonna finish it and we're gonna win. And now they're down by 21. But if they fight to the end and they can kind of gain something by showing a little bit of moxie and toughness, you go into week 2 and week 3 with a little bit more of a belief than if you just shut it down. And this team's going to be a hard out for a lot of teams that they play because of the offensive firepower that they have with Lego and company.
I think they're going to win a bunch of games. Lego batted and incomplete. Jalen Holmes, you mentioned his height. He's got his hands on a couple balls tonight.
I think it's a very unselfish group that Ohio State has. It'd be easy to be frustrated if you're Jalen Holmes because you have Sam Hubbard and Draymond Jones. We've talked so much about Tyquan Lewis and Nick Bosa, but they do a really good job of mixing different combinations of defensive linemen in there and letting them all play and try to keep them all fresh.
Lego on third down. That is caught for a first down. And that's the second tight end, Ryan Watercutter, into Ohio State territory. It's a big pickup for the Hoosiers.
It gave him just enough time, and with Ohio State bringing a linebacker blitz, nobody was there in the middle. They had 2 receivers there, and Chris Worley took the underneath receiver, and there was a big void in that defense behind Worley, and good throw by Lego.
In the pocket again. That one is intercepted. What a play on the ball. That should count as an interception. A fight for it with Donovan Hale, but that's picked off.
With all the talent from Ohio State secondary moving on to the NFL from last year, 3 guys that went in the first round, the baton has been handed to number 12, Denzel Ward. And what I love about when he gets out there, watch his eyes in the middle. Watch him look back and look for the football. Because he saw that football thrown, he gave himself a chance to make a play on the ball, and ultimately, that's why he came up with the interception.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football is presented by Destiny 2. Available September 6th, new legends will rise. Rated T for T. And in part by Express Jeans. Find the pair that's fit for you.
What a coming out party for number 2 true freshman from Texas, J.K. Dobbins, who got the start with Mike Weber hurting tonight in the opener. 178 rush yards, most by a true freshman running back in his Ohio State debut in history. Maurice Clarett back in 2002 at 175. J.K. Dobbins is going to have a lot of yards and impact on this Ohio State offense this year. J.T. Barrett to Campbell for the catch.
I think Clarett that year went for 230 against Washington State a couple weeks later. I think that's the record for a freshman running back at Ohio State. And with Dobbins still out there, he's one big carry, one broken tackle away from, having a chance to at least make it interesting.
And if he doesn't do it tonight,
It may.
I think he's got a pretty good chance.
It is going to happen for sure.
We'll see if Weber comes back and maybe they share some carries. Who knows? But I'd be giving the ball to number 2. Nobody's asked me yet. That's a first down and more. And that's Luke Farrell, freshman tight end. Ohio State looking for some production from their tight ends.
They sure are.
That has not been a position of strength for this team the last few years.
Let me ask you something. They're at 21 with 9 minutes to go. The way this game is gone, are you surprised that they still have Barrett and the skill and really their entire first team unit in?
I am surprised. It's the first game. Maybe you're kind of thinking, okay, we got Oklahoma next, as many reps as we can get. But
I think it's still about not running up a score, but more about first half was kind of a debacle for what they expect out of themselves. So I think he wants his first unit to keep working, keep trying to kind of create that identity, keep trying to find confidence, because the game next week, that's the real deal. I mean, Lincoln Riley and the OU Sooners roll into Columbus. That's a real challenge, and I think that's why you're seeing the brain trust here with Kevin Wilson, Ryan Day, and Urban Meyer say, let's keep them in for another series.
I also think, look, everybody acted like Kevin Wilson, Ryan Day, snap the fingers, offense better.
Voila.
And it just doesn't work like that.
No.
And you got to get some reps in a game to work out those kinks, find some of that rhythm. And I think they're finding that here in this second half in a big way. Dobbins stopped a yard short. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Yeah, Dave, Ryan Day told me that he felt like he and Kevin Wilson would be really good at adjusting if that would happen. Dave, go back to you real fast here.
Okay.
So we got a little altercation maybe out there. Like an Ohio State player. It looked like Jamarco Jones was involved in laying on top of a player, and some of the Indiana players took exception to that.
Play clock gets reset. So, yeah, I think they got that taken care of before it escalated. 3rd and 1. Barrett keeps for a first down and more across midfield, and now get down. Don't take a big hit.
That's the new J.T. Barrett. He says, I'm getting down.
It's the smart J.T. Barrett.
Yeah.
Why don't we go back down to Laura? Laura?
Yeah, so Ryan Day said that he felt like he and Kevin Wilson, because there's no ego between the two of them, would be good at adjusting if they had to. And he said they knew they'd have a few kinks early on. They just didn't know exactly what they'd be. And obviously it depends on what a defense gives you. But he felt that if they were faced with it, they could be honest with each other about what they'd need to change in game.
Well, that looks to be happening tonight. They're giving Antonio Williams some carries now on first down. I do believe that this offense, last year they put up some points and put up some impressive. This is going to be a more explosive offense.
Oh, yeah. And I think as Kevin Wilson and Ryan Day get a better feel for what these players can and can't do in game-like situations, they'll start to kind of mold their offense like it's putty in a certain direction. They know about J.T. Barrett, but I think they're learning about some of these other skill guys.
Marcus Baugh, the tight end.
The other thing is, I think the wide receivers, we talked all night about him. Everybody wants to talk about J.T. Barrett and how much has he improved. I think it's on the shoulders of the receivers as a group, and they've had some moments that have been great, and they had some moments where they're going to go back and have a little bit of a reality check and say, you know, we've got to do better. We've got to get separation. We've got to help our quarterback out, and I think that's what a first game is really all about, being able to play a game and go back and look at the film and see where you can improve.
Yeah, I'm with you. And one thing, they were not good yards after the catch last year. They've been great with that tonight, so that's already a big improvement. Campbell and Dixon have been a big part of the passing attack. Victor, you're talking about.
Well, we got an idea. I don't think we saw very many plays all year last year like we saw from Paris Campbell taking a simple crossing route at 10 yards and turning the corner and going about 60. Just outrunning people. I don't think we saw that all year.
They were near the bottom in college football yards after the catch.
Yeah.
They got 220 yards after the catch tonight, and Antonio Williams is looking like Dobbins. He slipped on the turf there.
And the other one, Johnny Dixon, another play where it was kind of a routine play over the middle. Next thing you know, he looks around and he's got a chance to take it, and he picks up a block and picks up another big play. So those kind of plays were far and few between in 2016.
Handoff inside the 10. And Barrett's still in there. Dobbins, I think he'd like to get a few more touches.
Oh, look at he's tapping Tony Alford, the running back coach, on the back like, hey, I'm good.
He's done everything but score tonight. I think he'd like to get in the end
That's
zone.
why he's saying, hey, let me in.
This is a perfect time for me. Up the middle, Williams.
Oh, come on. He's like, let me, come on. Oh, he didn't get it. He tried.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort. He's not down there, not paying attention. He's right behind his position coach trying to argue to get on the field.
I love it. Again, Barrett, you got to just...
Well, remember, Williams took a touchdown away from him early in the game. He did all the work all the way down, and then Williams came in and got the score.
I do believe that J.K. is going to get a lot of them.
I think a star is born tonight for Ohio State. J.K. Dobbins, worth every bit of the hype that you heard about him. One of the highly touted seniors last year, even though he didn't play.
Williams, touchdown. He's got another one. Smile for your teammate. He did.
Yeah.
That's great.
Pretty impressive by Ohio State. Keep in mind, they're down 14-13 at halftime.
Being outgained and outplayed.
And just looks very unorganized offensively, and they were struggling on defense in a lot of one-on-one situations. Greg Schiano, we've talked so much about Kevin Wilson. Greg Schiano taking over for Luke Fickell. The adjustments that they made in the second half, they've given up one touchdown, and we should look at a yard comparison from the first half to the second half. It's been a totally different story. So Schiano and his staff also deserve a lot of credit on the defensive side.
Well, we've watched number 2 here tonight. Now we get number 1 versus number 3 on Saturday night. Kirk and Chris and the gang will be there in Atlanta. The Chick-fil-A kickoff game at 8 Eastern on ABC, streaming live on the app. It's the first time in college football history number 1 opens against a top 3 opponent. I mean, it is, on paper, the best opener in the history of college football.
Yeah, you just hope the game lives up to the hype. Everybody excited to get to Atlanta and the Mercedes-Benz Stadium that's going to be unveiled, the new opening for that stadium.
Brand new.
Yeah, it should be great.
49-21, Ohio State taking care of business here on the road. We'll be back for the final 350 after this. Well, it's a little lonelier now up in the student section in Bloomington. They were packed in there for most of the night. And I think they're going to have some fun times this year with this Indiana football program. But too much Ohio State in the second half. A powerful performance by the Buckeyes. Final 4 minutes of this one. This was 14-13 at halftime. It was 21-20. Indiana took the lead again. It's been 29 unanswered from Ohio State since then.
Yeah, been domination, and I think there's a lot to learn for both these teams from week 1. For Ohio State, being on the road and facing a pretty good team, especially a good offensive team, and some of the challenges that they present, being able to go back to the drawing board at halftime and make those adjustments and come back. And even though Ohio State and Urban Meyer have a tradition with Urban being there of doing very well year in and year out, it's still a new team. And so to face that adversity and find an answer, that's big for developing a team belief, especially considering the last time they played a game, they walked off the field out in Arizona, losing 31-0. So it's a new year, and face that adversity after that loss and come back and win 49-21, or if it holds on to this score, that's big, not just to win the game, but to get ready for that next game.
By the way, we heard from SVP there. He's coming up after we're done. Congratulations, huh? Dad again. Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah.
Big week for him. Back in the saddle here on the opening night of our college football coverage. Pretty cool. Congrats. 3rd and 2 here for Indiana. And a first down on the ground. Well, we've been talking a lot about Tom Allen. I think there are better days ahead for the new head coach. Leading up to this game, Laura Rutledge, coming to the stadium a couple days ago, took a ride with Tom Allen.
When you drive to work, usually, what are you thinking about?
Just kind of thinking about the day.
Yeah.
You know, what's ahead, and usually the first thing we do during the season here is we have a team meeting in the morning at 7, and so just thinking about what I want to say to the guys. Mm-hmm. Whatever's going to start the day is kind of what your mind is on, and just trying to get your head cleared and get your thoughts, and you ready to go.
You're an Indiana guy. Does it ever hit you on these drives you are the head coach for this football team?
I'll tell you, there's times where it's still overwhelming to me, you know, just the thought of that, and to just feel so blessed to have this opportunity. And yeah, I've said it before, but it's true. I sometimes have to pinch myself.
Beat the traffic on a Wednesday morning. Got an early enough start. No problem getting in.
We've had a lot of fun with him and his staff this week. Classy group of guys, and love the energy and the culture that they're trying to create here in Bloomington with this team.
It's his dream job. I mean, that's what he was saying there, basically, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. And I think he's got a pretty good team that has a chance to be competitive this year in the Big Ten East. Start to go down their schedule and start to look at some of the games that they have to play. They're going to be tough for people to deal with, especially if you have to you play them here as opposed to going on the road.
Laura, any more thoughts on Tom Allen?
Yeah, one of my favorite things was actually getting to see his house, and his whole basement is like a player's lounge. And he actually took about 8 months to find a house here because he was trying to find the perfect basement for the players. He wanted to make sure they could come and have fun. The best part, they used the breakthrough mantra as a big part of their whole team, and his Wi-Fi password is breakthrough. When the kids came over and saw that, they absolutely loved it. It was great for them.
Cool story, but the breakthrough is going to have to wait for another night. Indiana ahead at halftime, ahead in the third quarter, just too much Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State does a nice job of kind of keeping their wits about him. Urban Meyer, you could see his nervous energy in that first half. I think he was looking at Richard Lago and that offense thinking, man, what are we going to do to slow these guys down? You can see him right there showing the respect for Lago. Did a nice job of competing. For the second half, Ohio State made the proper adjustments and eventually just too strong.
New offense looked pretty good for the Buckeyes, and their new weapon, J.K. Dobbins, was a star in his first college game. Final score, Ohio State 49, Indiana 21. For Kirk Herbstreit, for Laura Rutledge, Dave Fleming saying so long from Bloomington Sports Center with SVP. Next.